I knew you were. All right, let's go.
All righty, I'm going to share my screen. Can you all see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jumoke Deloach. Just a little background, it's a Nigerian name. Me and all my siblings, we all have our first and middle names are African names. It means everyone loves the child. Haven't met a person yet that hates me, so I guess I'm living up to it. All right, so beyond basic consulting, I resigned my full-time job in 2016 and started my own consulting business because I really do have a passion for knowledge and learning. I learn every day from my clients, and I have a love for business. I am committed to helping others through their entrepreneurial pursuits, and I am focused on improving the 3 Ps, which is the people who perform the processes that affect the profits. It is the inner working of them. And the services that I provide are business startup services, bookkeeping, tax preparation, notary, and educational services.
Hey, Ms. Jumoke, real quick, going well. Everybody wants you to expand the screen as much as possible. We're getting messages.
Okay. All right.
You're a little bit large enough for that.
Okay.
There you go. Good? Yeah, it's them, not me. They want it.
All right. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me put it back.
No issues. No issues.
All right. We got it?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Dr. Venor, I knew I was on the right path when I heard you talking about planning, because that's what I wanted to talk about today, how I use my notary services in my consulting business, how I help my clients using that. And the one thing is about planning for the future of their business and for their personal plans as well. So one of the things that I have found is that a lot of people don't like to talk about planning and writing out wills, last wills, and testaments, but it is so important that as a business owner that we draft a will. And we plan for what is not avoidable. We're all going to leave here. So leaving your business is going to happen. Retirement is going to happen. Passing away or passing the throne on to someone else. It is going to happen. So we have to plan for it. Even if we don't want to think about it, we have to plan for it. So drafting a will. When should we draft a will? We should draft a will early on, as soon as we gain assets. Assets could be money. Who gave you money to start a business? Did you have money to start a business? So I tell my clients when they come, that's the first thing I ask them. Do you have a will? What's going to happen? So it can be complicated to know exactly when. You should write your will. It's ideal to have it written as early as possible. But it should also be late enough so that you're able to cover all the assets that you have. Many people might be quite, they may think early on in their careers or as a business owner, and therefore they may feel it's too early to create a will, but it is never too early to create a will. Essentially, it is going to be up to the business owner. Based on their plans and their estate and other things that they have, but it is very important to have that in your thoughts early on when you start your business. Selecting heirs. When we think about that, who is going to be an heir to your business? One of the conversations I was having with one of my clients, and he told me, well, I'm going to leave you all my tools and all my machinery. I was like, I don't do anything with landscaping. I don't even know how to use a lawnmower, a weed whacker, or anything. Well, you've been so good to me, I'm going to leave that with you. I said, well, what about your children? well, they don't know how to use that stuff, so why should I leave it to them? I said, and neither do I. He's like, but the reason I'm going to leave with you because you know how to operate this landscaping business. You have helped me start it. You tell me what to do, and you don't even know how to use a lawnmower. I'm like, well, that makes sense, but I don't think that's going to come over too well with your family if you leave me all that stuff. So it is important to genuinely know who wants to take on a business, and that was his thing. They don't want it. They're not going to do anything with it. But I still pushed him to, think about your brothers or somebody else who may be interested in it, in terms of who you're going to leave it to. We have to consider what will happen if we have to step down, if we get injured, if we leave here unexpectedly, who's going to take on the business, and are they going to take it on and do what you want to have done with it? If not, then there's things that we need to put into the will in terms of how we want that property sold, the estate sale, etc. So those are things to keep in mind. If you have children that are not passionate about the business, they're not even helping you now, I always consider, why would you leave it to them? Have something arranged where all the assets are sold, and then you split the money that was made from it. All right, create a succession planning. It is a blueprint for a seamless transition of your business operations. Whether you might be in business, you might have a business partner, or it might be yourself. It is still important to have a succession plan. If you are in business or in a partnership, it's important to create the plan as part of your estate plan to ensure whoever replaces you as the business owner is someone you fully trust. By creating that succession plan in advance, you can provide your stakeholders, your customers, or whoever is beneficial to your business with the expectation of a smooth transition, and that it adheres to the company mission and vision. So you want to make sure that the company that you build, when you're helping your clients, that their mission and their vision is going to live on way after they are gone. So planning. Let's look at what's next here. Tax planning. You have your own business just like we plan when we're working on our W-2 jobs. Even if you still have a W-2 job and you have your own business, you want to make sure that you have planned for your pension or your retirement. This is one thing that I always encourage my clients to do. Start an IRA. If you don't have, if you're not working a W-2, start an IRA with your bank or with your credit union and start planning for retirement, understanding how much money that you can add to your pension without incurring a tax. Also be aware of an inheritance tax that could also be a large burden on the people that are inheriting your company. So those are things to also be aware of as well. First and foremost, always have goals. Set goals, always revisit your goals. I always have my clients every year when the year starts back up, let's look at your goals. Did you accomplish the goals we set out this year? If not, why? Let's look at why we did not accomplish those goals. And going forward next year, let's set out a plan to accomplish those goals in addition to the goals that we're going to set for the upcoming year. So writing a will can provide your clients with the opportunity to set their long-term plan for their business and the goals. They'll be able to provide instructions on how to expect a company to be maintained. Again, setting those goals. Once you pass, who's going to be in charge? Are the When you pass away, are the fundamental values going to still be maintained by the person or the people that you bring in that is going to inherit your business? If we neglect to do that, it could ruin the future of the business. And we don't want to do that. We want that business to live on and for your heirs or those inheriting it to continue to be able to prosper from it. Making changes. It is important that you keep your will and last testament up to date. Things change. Just like my client say, I'm leaving everything to you. Well, guess what? One day I might have to let him go. And I'm going to remind him, hey, you might want to remove my name from, inheriting all your, and put somebody else's name. We never know. Things change with business relationships. So it is important to always make sure our clients know to make those changes, or every year ask them, hey, do you need to make any changes to your last will and testament? So as we talk about planning, if we do not prepare, we're going to prepare to fail. This is definitely true in everything that we do. So make sure that when you're working with your clients, that you let them know that it is so, so important to plan. And in order to plan, we've got to have good communication skills, as Dr. Fenor just told us. And we must be transparent with our clients and just very open with the future and what their plans are for their business. All right, I want to thank you all. Again, my name is Jumoke Deloach. And just a reminder, be positive, be productive, and go out and be your best in all that you do. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Come on up. Let's give her a round of applause. Come off mute. Put an emotion up, an emoji, share something. Yes.
Thank you all.
I am certain that a lot of people have some questions. So we ended a little early. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the floor for some questions that people may want to ask you. Again, if you guys have any questions, we definitely want to ask. And then we will get some fillers going on in between until we get to the right point in time. Does anyone have a comment or a question about drafting a will for your business? Anyone?
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a question, and thank you so much for a great presentation. And, sometimes people are so reluctant to talk about the inevitable, and they think that, having a conversation about death is bringing on death. So, thanks for talking about a topic that's taboo and scary for some. But my question is, after you create this will, how often do you think you should look into updating it? Like, should that be something you have on a regular cadence, or only when something substantial happens in your life?
No, I always suggest to my clients, in order for me to continue to be their consultant, I always tell them every year we've got to have a meeting. We've got to have our yearly meeting. We have quarterly meetings where I go over their financials and everything. But every year we need to meet, because I need to know if things have changed in terms of their direction, where they're wanting to go with their company. What is it? Any new goals that you have set? So we have a goal setting meeting, and that's part of that. Has anything changed? Do you need to update your will? Do you need to, anything that's part of that goal setting meeting that we have? So I would say yearly. I've been telling my mom, because she's like, well, everything is going to be yours. Nobody else should expect. I say, listen, you can't, words mean nothing if you don't have it on paper. You have to put it in writing, and most states require it to be notarized. So you need to get it, put it in writing, have it notarized, and revisit it every year. Yes, every year.
I have no, go ahead.
But you can go ahead. I'll wait till you finish.
No, I just wanted to know if you ever had a situation where a client came to you and wanted to change their will right away, probably because one of their children upset them and they want to cut them out the will.
Yeah. And one of the things that I always ask them is to really think about, are you just reacting emotionally, or is this something that you really want to happen? I try not to get into their personal business, but at the same time, we build a relationship where I know of their family. Share with me what happened. I will ask them if they feel comfortable. Share with me what happened, because there can be consequences for that, so I don't want them to just have a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, they made me mad, I'm taking it out. Now next week I come back, oh, can we change that again? Okay, now you're putting extra work on me because you're acting emotional off of every little thing your kids do. Because a lot of times when people set up a will, they see, oh my God, I have a lot of stuff here. When you have them type out what assets they have, they start thinking, oh, I'm going to leave that to them. That person get this, that person get that. And sure enough, when that person upsets them, they want to write them out. And then when they make them happy again, oh, I'm going to put them back in. So yes, it does happen.
My question was, in talking to your clients about wills, do you ever mention a trust and putting the assets in a trust and naming an executor over the trust, which can be easier when you're talking about maintaining the assets or building the assets? Because I've had a couple of incidents personally in my family where people have written wills and then there's a contest, someone's contesting the will, whereas a trust is not contestable.
Correct. So depending on where they are, I know some states, when you're writing your last will and testament, they have provisions in there where you list the beneficiaries, and there's statements that says, if any of these individuals contest this will, they're out of the will. So yes, I do refer them to do that.
So you're saying you have a trust. So if you have property, is that what you're saying, that you should have a trust so that there's no complications? Or
Yeah.
A trust would be for the property?
For any assets.
Any asset. Mm-hmm.
Because I have a lot of older people in my family, and some of them have children who don't. And I found out this the hard way, a relative from somebody we didn't even know. And he was a DNA relative, but he wanted to contest the will. And we had never heard of this guy, seen him or anything, but he knew his sister had assets and she never had children and he did. And I talked to her about it, and she, when it comes culturally, we don't always want to do a will because you're trying to put me in the grave, like you said before. Yeah. And I kept saying to her for over 15 years, you've got to write it down. You got to write it down. She would only agree to write down how she wanted to be disposed. She would not talk about her assets. And so I drafted for her. I said, well, I know you have 3 siblings and, they have children, but this 4th sibling, and he contested her will, the things that she had signed. And so then that made me suspicious about my own will, because I do have a child. And I went to see my attorney, and I was advised, put all your property, assets, and everything in a trust, and you can write directives as to who gets what and what. But it's harder to contest the trust than it is to contest the will.
Yeah. And that trustee is going to do exactly what's in that trust. And there's nothing anyone can do about it because it's already been assigned.
So I have another question. So can your executor be over the trust and the will? Because I have a will and an executor over that. So you're saying, so would that also be for the trust if I formed a trust? Or could you have 2 different people, or one for the trust and one for the will, or does that make sense?
Well,
go ahead.
Your trustee, what are you going to appoint the trustee over? I would
Property.
If it's just for the property, then yeah, you want to make sure it's very specific to what that trustee is over, I would say. So, I spoke with I attended a workshop over, I think last weekend, and the young lady said when her husband died, her own children and her bonus children came for her to take the house that they lived in and the lake house.
I've seen it happen.
Oh, yeah.
And she had no idea that they were going to do that. She just got a letter in the mail from their attorneys. They wanted the house that her and her husband shared. These are adults, and the lake house. So it's like, I'm taking everything.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and she had to fight it. So it is so important that we do this. It really is.
Oh, the bonus kids get in on this
The
too?
bonus kids
Mhm.
and the birth children teamed up together to take it from the mother.
That's like that Aretha Franklin situation.
Yeah.
And
All
she
the
said she
kids.
couldn't even grieve her husband because she was so busy fighting them, and no one should have to deal with that.
And I just as a side note, I think culturally we think a will take care of everything, but a trust has more powers than a will. So
It does.
I always tell people look into the trust because it's ugly when family fight family over
Mhm.
things that material.
Yes, it is. Derek still can't get over the bonus children part.
Oh yeah.
But well, we had a situation recently in the Bahamas just last week where a wife buried her husband, and the brother went up on the pulpit and said how the wife was causing so much grief for the family, and it was just a whole situation about the assets that the husband had. But he left a will, and the wife had access to everything, the properties, the apartments, the vehicles, the businesses. She got everything, and the family thought that he had allocated the assets between his wife, his brother, and his children. Well, long story short, they had fight in the church, and somebody threw a shoe, and yes, it was viral. They actually had a fight in the church, and the police had to be called in, and it was all about what this guy had. But when he was going through his sickness, only his wife took care of him. The children didn't support her. They didn't provide any financial assistance, no mental or physical assistance with him. He battled a long battle with cancer. The doctors told him he only had 5 years to live, and he died exactly 5 years after he got that diagnosis. And at the end of the day, it was just very sad. And it just goes to show you, families may think that a will is in place or know that a will is in place, but they don't know that a will can be changed before the person passes away. And so some of the family members were under the false pretense of what they know was in the first will. So they would not, So my question is, when should the will be read? Because it seems to be a problem when the will is read or people know about the current will before the funeral. Like, can we get the people in the hole before we start fighting over the stuff?
I've not had to deal with that part, but I would say as soon as possible, the will should be read. That way everybody understands what's going to happen going forward. But yeah.
Well, in my situation, when my father passed away, he left a will. And the first line of that will was that I was responsible for his burial expenses. Dude died and left $3.47 in the bank. There was no money that came along with this responsibility. So my siblings got all upset because they thought that some money was involved. I had to find money. And it caused a lot of conflict in our family because there was this perception that there was some assets. And I'm still waiting on the Jamaican who's supposed to be coming and bring me that bag of money because he's like 5 years late. Because everybody thought I was getting some money that I never got, but I had to actually find money to bury my father. So how come it is someone could put in their will to leave somebody responsible for their burial expenses and don't leave money with that? Is
Now,
that like, why did that happen?
yeah, now he named you, but he should have had that conversation. For me and my mom, we've had that conversation. She's told me what everybody should get. Now she is not going to read the will before she passed, and she's not going to disseminate it to anybody. She has told me because I'm going to be the responsible person. And that's what he should have done with you, especially being that he put in there that you were responsible for those expenses. A lot of times I think people don't want to create any conflict prior to their death by saying, hey, you're only going to get a penny. That person's going to get the rest of everything. And so at that point, you know, little Johnny is going to be upset for the rest of their lives, as long as you're living. And when you die, you know, probably cause all kind of chaos. But I think that's what it is. People don't want to have those conversations and let people know either they will or will not be in it.
Yeah, well, I think what was shocking in that situation is I'm not the oldest child. I'm the seventh child out of 15. So I'm not even first, second, or third. I'm the middle child. And I'm a bonus child. So he has a wife, you know, and she was upset that she was not given that privilege of burying her husband. But then after she found out that I had to find the money, she was relieved.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah, he should have had that conversation.
He probably thought you were the most responsible child.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know that's what it is, right? But it still doesn't help me to get my money back, because when I went to the family, no, but when I went to the family and I said, okay, daddy's passed away, let all of us get together and chip in, they say, well, you won the will.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no one else on the will, you on the will. So that's your responsibility. And it was very disheartening, because here it is, a man died, he has 15 children. Why all of us can't get together? You know, you put $300, you put $500, however you could afford it. You know, why does it lie with one person? Because that's the person named in the will.
Right.
It brings out the worst and the best of us.
Very, very interesting story. Again, I think that was a great presentation. What I don't want to do is want to leave it open to everybody's giving out a little personal information, and people who might not be into the will thing are kind of just sort of watching and looking around. Does anybody else, and that's a very sad situation, by the way, God would punish my family. Does anybody else have a question or comment about a will for your business? I know I had one, like how much profit do we have to actually have like a valuable will as far as business is concerned? I know you mentioned that someone was leaving you equipment, but is there a certain, consider it valuable, is there a certain amount of profit you should have?
It depends on the assets, because the assets could be cash that you have on hand. Just depending on the assets, and that's why I say every year look to either update it or and regardless whether it's $5,000 or $1,000, it's got to go to somebody. Right. So you want to make sure you have something in place to leave and say how this money or how your assets should be divvied up or who it should go to. If you have nothing and you're just really starting up something and you really don't have any assets or maybe $50 in the bank, then I'm not going to press you to do that. But once you start making a significant amount of money, you want to make sure.
Okay. That was one of the questions I definitely wanted to ask. Does anyone else have some question regarding towards wills for your business? I see a lot of people talking about a trust versus will, and we've said here even that the difference between the two. It's also mentioned that even a trust will protect you, even if you're being bankruptcy or that somebody goes after you for personally. I thought that was very interesting as well. Just out of curiosity, is anybody here with us today? Do they have a will, a testament for their current business? I know clearly on a scale of 1 to 10, if I could choose one person who did, I would choose you.
I have a trust, and it's in
Okay. Okay. What made you go with trust over a will, just out of curiosity?
Probably because, like I said, I have several older relatives, and a lot of them didn't have children. And because I'm the responsible person, I guess, in my generation to make sure everybody gets buried or whatever. I had an uncle who had over $250,000 in assets. He never wrote a will. He wouldn't write a will. He had siblings, although he never had children. And I tried to get them to come together. You know, they were too damn cheap to pay attorney fees in the state of Florida. Got every asset he had.
Wait,
And it just
the
blew
state
my
got
mind.
50?
Yeah, that's what happens. If you don't have a will and you don't have a family member who will step up with an attorney to fight for your assets or how they should be divided, the state will take your assets. And there's nothing you can do about it. And because I am like a third, fourth cousin down the line or niece down the line, there was nothing I can do about it. And then his niece died, for whom I had gotten her to allocate what she wanted to do with her house and how she wanted to be buried. But her siblings wouldn't step up. And I did get an attorney and fought to make sure that her assets were divided evenly, because she had these siblings who two want all of it, or two over here want all of it, or I was the demon who wanted out. I didn't want anything, didn't get anything. But because I had taken care of her for many years, I just didn't want to see the state take her assets the way they took my uncle's assets. So it's important, and it's something in our community that we really need to talk about and push, because you have people work all their lives, have businesses, side businesses, assets, and if they won't write it down or do something about it, there are state laws that will say, okay, we'll give you this amount of time to figure it out. And if you don't, we got it. And that's what happens.
Are you, just out of curiosity, you have siblings, correct?
Oh, I have siblings. I have.
Baby?
Huh?
Are you the baby?
No, I'm the oldest, like 16 years old. But my father was a responsible person of his generation. And I guess I kind of pick up that habit, making sure all the older people are taken care of.
I notice it's usually the baby that sort of does that, because they sort of see the older, the second brother, some making mistakes, and they're usually, I've seen it, that the baby is responsible for a lot of it.
I was the only child for 16 years, and then they had other children. So
okay. I want to give a shout out to Swan Fleming. She is coming out with phrases, people be peopling. If you don't have a plan, the state will have a plan for you. Swan, I got to get you to make some t-shirts for me, okay? Because you are putting it out there. So again, does anybody have another question and or comment about a will or a testament for your business? Anybody? Because I would have another question too, I guess. Okay, so I guess my question would also be, obviously, you need an attorney. An attorney who does like a person's life will and testament, can they do a business will and testament as well, or are they separated? Are they not allowed to do that, or can they do both? Jim, okay? I don't know. Jim, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
No, yeah. Yes, I get that. So can a person who does personal life will and testament, are they licensed to do business testament, business will and testament, or are they two separate things?
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate y'all. I need to grow up. Okay, I'm trying to get my life together. So this is getting a lot of valuable information here. Good, very interesting section. Very good info on the trust. Okay, real quick. You did put your LinkedIn profile in the chat, correct?
I did, and I did want to ask real quick. I went to Dr. Fenard's page. I could not do a recommendation. Does that mean I need to follow? I sent over a connection request.
You always do. When you connect with people, always connect, never follow, because follow is a one-way street. You can never see, right? A connect is a two-way street. And the purpose of that is if you're looking for a job or you have an announcement that you want to make, I can see what you say so I can share with my network. But as far as a recommendation, I'm not sure. It should be at the bottom. And you should be able to, like I said before, to go there and do that. Let's go to real quick, this may seem a little weird, me constantly having you guys go to someone's LinkedIn profile, but again, I'll be talking about it today, and I see the value in just doing this. So again, I'll share the screen. We'll go to your account, right? And what we'll do is we'll scroll down to the bottom. I won't judge your profile. I'm upset about the first one. I'm gonna let it go. We'll go down to the bottom. And it should be recommendations. So right now, oh, this is, guys, look here. Right now, she doesn't have any recommendations. So now would be a good time for us to go to her profile, go to the bottom, go to the recommendations section, and then let's see, given. Oh, you do have one. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm sorry. Okay, you do. All right. But why can I not?
See, that's how it was when I went. I can see entrepreneurs. Now I can give one. So maybe I need to. Maybe you
Excuse
need
me.
a connection.
Excuse me. I could not connect to neither one of them to give a recommendation. Neither page.
Really?
No.
Okay. Let's go to my page so we can make sure now that we all get mine in. Okay. I'm kidding. No, that's very odd. Because I just went to. I can give a recommendation on the doctor's page. Maybe I need to refresh that. I'm sorry about that, guys. Look, like I own LinkedIn and it's my fault. But I want us to, again, even if we can't do it now, maybe we come back in an hour or so. It's very valuable that if we can to give these recommendations. I can't say that enough, right? Very, 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 very valuable. This is like giving a rating on Google for your business, but this is your personal profile. Again, go to the profile, go to the bottom section, give them a recommendation. If you can't, check back in. And I also want each of the speakers they will make a post about them speaking here. So you can go under there and leave a comment as well. Big Tony, what's up? I said Big Tony. Yes, sir.
That's okay. I just connected with a few, and still, even with connecting with them, I'm still not able to leave a recommendation. So there must be a help page to connect with LinkedIn to find out how to make that connection.
Yeah, I've never had that happen, but let's try. And again, I hope you guys don't mind me doing this. It's just I want to get you okay, right? So see, I'm here at doctors. Let me see. Let me go back out. Let me move this up real quick. I'm sorry, guys, for taking all this time, but again, it's very valuable for you all to see this. I guess I can't even move this little bar out the way. Here we go. All right. Let's say if we cross this out and let's move this down here. Discard. All right. So you guys are saying on Dr. Tony's page, you guys don't see the recommend Tonya button here? Because I again,
correct. I don't see that recommendation button.
I don't see it.
Wheezy? Okay. I apologize. Again, as if I own Zoom. I mean LinkedIn. But I'm not sure how to rectify that. But again, keep trying to do that. We definitely want to give people their credit and their flowers. And I will go back again and try it again just to see what happens. I apologize about that, but someone was able to leave at least one recommendation in the past for you, Mr. Loach. So we are coming up on 7 minutes before the break. Again, try to go ahead in there, guys, and then give that recommendation if you can. And like I said, that would be very helpful. Real quick, again, I do want to thank our sponsors for today. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up my again, I want to thank the sponsors today. Truett Bank, of course. We definitely want to thank Watson Institute, City Signings, and She Listens LLC. Real quick, it's the third quarter. Have you guys updated your first and second quarter expenses yet? I didn't think I knew about that. Okay. Another question is, have you budgeted for your Georgia Network membership fee? And have you updated your signing services? So again, it's third quarter. You want to update your first and second quarter expenses, budgeted for your GaNN membership fee, and then updated your signing services. So if you haven't done those, you may want to do that as well. So keep that in mind. And we still have a little bit of time. So again, quick question: how did you get into the area of doing wills and that type of work for your personal business, Mr. Loach?
Because of my family, and one of the things is in our culture, as Ms. Vanetta was saying, we shy away from it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't. And I've seen so much happen in my family after someone has passed, and the chaos that it causes. I just always encourage people to do that, even especially when they start a business. What's going to happen to your business? They never think about that, and they say, "Oh, I never thought about that." So I just always encourage others to do that in their personal lives as well.
I can, but I just maybe I am very blessed. Like I'm blessed to have my family, but I have never seen our family members fight over something.
Oh, they do.
Okay, we have a question from Georgia Notary Network. Georgia Notary Network, did you have a question?
Hey, just wanted to chime in for a second about the LinkedIn recommendations.
Yes.
Sometimes it does require an invite or a connection. So give all the speakers time to filter through any updates as we're connecting and following. And then they're just like you said, everybody check back in 30 minutes or an hour and see if you can get back in there.
Okay, yeah, so that definitely makes sense. Thank you. You definitely need to be connected. All right, so send a connection request to everyone who shares their LinkedIn. Look, LinkedIn is trying to fool you guys. They will put a follow button immediately when you go to that person's profile because they want to limit the number of connections you have at 30,000. I don't know why. But instead of follow, go to the right and hit those three little buttons, dot, 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 and a drop down will drop down and you'll have that connect option. Always connect, never follow. Always connect. And once they accept the connection, then you shall be able to go in and making that recommendation. That being said, everyone who shared their LinkedIn, and be on your P's and Q's. As soon as those invitations, connections come on and accept them, so they can go on ahead right away while they're still in the heat of the moment to go ahead and give you that recommendation. Does that make sense? Let's go. I got to go to my boy Tony Henry's page. I got to. Got to connect, brother. You got to connect. All right, guys. It is going on 1 o'clock. So what we will do now, if anyone doesn't have any questions, we'll do another sort of transition. Great time for anyone to get up, go to the restroom. I know some of you are still at work. If you want to handle some of your office business, you could definitely do that. Get a break, get a breather, and then we will come back. I'll give about a 5 to 7 minute, just turn off your computer screens, and I'll come back in a little early so we can ease into Mr. Daniel Rosebud and hhis presentation. And I want to say before we go, thank you guys so much. The participation here is very great, and the topics are very great. Again, I'm not as well versed in some of these things. And this is a grown folks, definitely a grown folks gathering today here at Georgia Notary Network. So we'll take a break, and I'll be back very soon. Here we are recording. Mr. Daniel Rosebud is the owner and founder of Georgia Reconnecting Youth. He will give a presentation on how fellowship supports small business owners. I'm excited. A reminder to everyone, you want to have your camera on so that when the speaker is giving a presentation and he feels he's being watched. We also want to mute our microphones so that we don't have any extra sound or noise going on. And then let's give our full attention to Mr. Daniel Rosebud.
Hey everyone. Just wanted to isolate my mic real quick to make sure that I'm clear because I have an air conditioner in the back of me. I appreciate you so much, Gan, just for inviting me in and allowing me to be a part of this platform with you all today. I'm currently in Washington, D.C. I'm here for the March on Washington. I just left the National Coalition for Negro Women, and we just did a whole planning session. So I'm fired up. I just appreciate being here in this space, and then as well as, being able to make this with you guys today. I really want this to be a conversational piece for us. And so I want to talk about some things. If you have questions, I want you to put them in the chat. I did share some visuals just about, I shared it with the host here, Mr. Ford, just about the certificates that my agency is offering and what that looks like, right? Some examples of the work. But like, as I was introduced, my name is Daniel Rosebud. I go by Rosebud. I am the founding executive director for Georgia Reconnecting Youth, Inc., which is an economic development firm. And we predicate our work around workforce development, civic and political efficacy, and general economic mobility, where we're really trying to convene the voices of the people that are closest to the issue in order to solve the issues. My work really began very early on as a youth myself. Let me step back. So my agency focuses on supporting 16 to 24-year-olds, which we consider opportunity youth primarily. And that's a person or a young adult who is disconnected from education and or resources. They have the desire to succeed, but they lack the access to opportunity. Because I was a young adult in that age range, by the time I aged out of that 16 to 24, I found myself still really needing support. And so in 2014, I founded Project Moguls as a strategic management firm. And I was partnering with startup agencies as well as nonprofits. At that time, I wasn't really into nonprofits, but it was the fact of any social entrepreneur, any entrepreneur that I could locate that possibly had an opportunity for young adults like me to build our resume. And so I started in 2014 with Project Moguls. I eventually started to work for nonprofits, developing relationships with their board members in order to deliver some of those experiences to my classmates. After which I really fell in love with the social sector, and I found that there is where solutions are sustained because those agencies were working towards policy. They were leveraging our youth, our lived experience, or who we were to justify new legislation. And those policies and legislations push funding from the top down to states like ours, ensuring that more innovation can be had, that pre-existing programs had enough capital to operate at a level where young adults and others weren't dependent on the system, but got quality services in a way where they actually were able to achieve permanency. And so my goal was to really look for the plug, right? It was that I started up this strategic management firm trying to really voice reason to startups and other for-profit agencies about creating space for us to gain the experience, right? And then I found out that is not where the work was really being done. And I again transitioned over to nonprofits, and I lived on several boards. So and I'll draw this to a close, but or at least this portion to a close. But as I entered the social sector, I started with working with people like United Way, and I was a board member for their Metro Atlanta Opportunity Youth Initiative, which was a statewide initiative trying to spread best practices about working with young adults. That is where my entry started. And after which, I founded a nonprofit, Georgia Reconnecting Youth, really looking to say, hey, I noticed that we're sitting on all these boards, that you guys are leveraging our voice and all these great things, but we're leaving empty. We're still, we're voicing ourselves on these councils. We're giving our feedback. It's helping change policy, helping create funding for pre-existing organizations, but we ourselves are still disconnected. And so to support the capacity of youth councils and individuals that were in these spaces being martyred, I really wanted to teach them usable skills that were respected, skills that were accredited, and that individuals knew very well. And so for me, that boiled down to project management. And so my agency thus teaches project management to these young adults that are in the social space. We're for everyone, but my goal is to really tool young adults who are in these spaces so that they can be more than just a voice at the table. And in pursuit of trying to grow my organization and expand the capacity of what I was doing, because it wasn't that what I was doing was foreign to anyone, or some of the things that I was fitting together were innovative. Everyone wasn't doing the things that I was doing in concert with one another, like training young adults, giving them the types of experiences, but they, for some reason, still didn't find value in doing it in the way that, I chose to, I guess, do the work. And so as I left my boards, I really still found myself back at the beginning. All of my tenure and all of my, work on these councils really did not matter, because I was stepping into a space that they ultimately were not preparing us to step into. They were not wanting us to lead initiatives or to do the work ourselves. They wanted us to be essentially their martyr. And so in having to start over from the bottom, in my case, I had to seek out systems and mechanisms that would give me all of the things that someone from either a PWI or HBCU and all these country clubs and all these other social networks had. And for me, that was fellowships. And so I want to explain to you guys how to leverage, fellowships, and not only fellowships, but how to identify things adjacent to fellowships, and how to not only identify things that are adjacent, because things that are adjacent may be called accelerators or incubators, right? But also how to differentiate between which fellowships that are worth your time, or rather fit who you are as an entrepreneur or a scholar. And so all of them are not made the same. They all don't have the same benefits. And once you find a circuit, right, a lane to be in, it allows you to kind of capitalize off of this type of structure in the most positive way. And so I would love to tell you guys about my experience with Truist and Watson. I really appreciate you guys inviting me back to really share my experience there. But then I also engaged other fellowships like Elevated Cities, and I shared some visuals with Mr. Ford, so hopefully he can drop that in the chat for you guys just to check out. But it's, Elevated Cities was essentially a fellowship that was started by Lakeisha Harmon, Dr. Lakeisha, and she was really focused on creating Black unity and support for Black-led organizations. And so I jumped in that fellowship, but I also was a part of Jumpstart, which is funded by Annie Casey. And then I was a part of Resilia, and I also was a part of My Reality, which is a storytelling platform. And so essentially I made my way around the table until I had all of the tools, which I'm still building those tools, but I made my way around the table until I had enough tools to really launch my initiative. And so I want to, if you have any current questions or curiosities, I want to take a breath real quick and kind of consider what your questions may be before I continue to dive in. And Mr. Ford, please help me convene some of those questions if you do see any.
Sure. I guess what you're sort of saying is, because you gave a great introduction, but I feel like just in case somebody didn't get going on, correct me if I'm wrong, you've done a lot of fellowships with banks, I think you mentioned, and other organizations that have been able to, are they helping you? Are they funding you? Are they giving you funding financially, or are you gaining from them maybe contacts or something like that? I guess, not saying that's my question because I'm not asking a question, but because
Okay.
But do you understand what I'm saying? And is that right? Sort of what you're saying about start before we go into the presentation?
Yeah. I leverage the system of fellowships, which is really, and I use that as a blanketed term because it's a model, it's a business model that organizations and institutions use in order to give where they don't normally give. And so fellowships can be attached to a number of organizations, and it's really the organization type and the goal or the objective of that organization that you have to pay the closest attention to, because a number of people will create a fellowship or an incubator or an accelerator or some type of program that's split between business and academia, and there is no, immediate value, or there is no tangible takeaway from that. It's just like you just went to a class and you kind of went home. That is not what my goal was, and that is not what I engaged. But it did take some looking and some digging and some discernment.
Okay, so just to so fellowship is that a way of donation? Is that another term, I guess, for donation from an organization or a company?
So in my experience, when an organization chooses to launch a fellowship, it could be for one of two reasons, but again, it's dedicated to the organization itself. So one of the two reasons could be that their goal is to create grants and funding, but they're granting and funding to a group of individuals that don't have as much collateral or history on the books as a well-established organization, or one that has been established, for a long time.
So maybe a minority group, not necessarily.
Could be a minority group.
Yeah, but not as large as another one.
Right. It's about the founder themselves, and so the stage that they see themselves in, whether you're in that seed stage or you're past that seed stage, so a fellowship, if we're going to stay on that example, it could be, no, it's okay. A fellowship could be a part of an institution, like an educational institution, like a school, right? In that sense, then it's really mostly academia that you're looking for. Sometimes, so other people might call it a residency if you're in medical school, right? Or an apprenticeship if you're at on-job training. But the deliverables from each of these vehicles are slightly different. And so, like, if I'm in a fellowship, quote unquote, and it is ran by a school, then most likely I'm there for some type of, I'm trying to gain my master's, or I'm trying to collect volunteer hours, or I'm trying to widen my network. So when I graduate, there are people who are ready and willing to engage my thesis. Okay. But if I am an entrepreneur and I've chosen not to first go to school, or maybe I've already gone to school and now I have to, engage as an entrepreneur from kind of the ground up, then that fellowship that I'm looking for may be pushed out by a foundation or an organization whose responsibility for greater good or societal good can't be met by them directly giving out service. So like a foundation's job is not to do direct service. It is to create their bank, essentially. That's what essentially they will operate as. And they have to find very creative ways to achieve their own mission. And so they will package money into different things. It may come in the form of a grant, or a grant may be attached to a learning portion as well. If a grant is attached to a learning portion, then that is a fellowship. So you're getting the money based on your performance in the program and your ability to execute or articulate, what they're asking you to, right? And through that process, at the end of the day, you should have what you didn't have before, which might be a business plan or a strategic plan. But that business plan and that strategic plan is also met with funding. And I don't want to get you lost on that example, because essentially that's a lot of how fellowships are created. So foundations will have a investment thesis, and that investment thesis is explaining way before they give out the money. It's explaining who they're targeting and why.
Okay. Now, look, I'm a student here. Where could you said fellowships? Where could one find? Are they listed somewhere, or do we have to come to someone like you who might have a source for that?
If you yourself are looking for fellowships, there are circuits of resources for fellowships that are out there. So you can identify in general foundations. Any foundation that aligns with your objective, what you're doing, is the foundations that you want to follow and attach yourself to. And then those foundations, like I said, they have a general responsibility to give out money. The reason that they're giving out money is because they're restricted from doing direct services. So they can't go out directly and hand food out to a homeless person. That is the job of a what they call a community-based organization or a regular nonprofit, right? So one part of it is that understanding that each type of nonprofit or each type of organization will play a different role. If you're if you yourself are a direct service, whatever your mission is you're actually wanting to go out and do the work yourself or manage a team of people that will do the work, then you're a general charity or social entrepreneur or for-profit organization. When you go look for money as one of those entities, you're going to look to either a bank or a foundation because they both have similar objectives with their services. Their services are to create access to funding. Well, a bank should be that, right? I would think hopefully that is their goal, is to create access to funding and whatever, there you might find a foundation that wants to save animals, right? But because they chose to incorporate themselves as a foundation, their job is to do research and to identify ways and opportunities to save animals, not to actually go out and try to save the animals. And so they will package money in different ways in order to locate entities that legally can carry out their mission in a more direct way.
So it would be like saying some people can either give out food, or you got some people that say, let's just give you some money instead. So I guess my next question would be keeping it on spot with the notaries. Are there any fellowships that you might think of or can know of that maybe will benefit a notary services specifically?
Yeah, I think advocacy services, things dealing with family court, things dealing with education or justice involved individuals heavily need notaries. I just experienced one of my relatives, going to a transitional home, and he's needing to validate me or sign me up as a visitor. For me to do that, I had to go to a notary. They sent me a package of information, and I had to supply a birth certificate and an ID in order to visit him in his transitional home. And I thought about calling you guys, but it was just too soon. I had kids, so I left out. But so things that deal with government policy, advocacy, youth, or marginalized communities all need notaries. Now, whether notary is going to be your one and only service, it may cause you to hustle a little bit more to find those opportunities. But if notary is, one of two services that you have, maybe you're doing another service that also places you in those same spaces, or skill that also places you in those same. Maybe you're an advocate, or myself, I'm a licensed mediator. I went to the University of Georgia to become a court neutral. So I myself can be a notary, but if I sign anything, it's still as good as a judge if you elect for me to oversee, or, your arbitration, or, whatever I write is as good as a judge in the state of Georgia. But if I wanted to do that in a more informal way, then I would need to be a notary and do that in the presence of these two individuals. And but that's also too, like, regardless, it would be just great prudence to be a notary as well as a mediator.
Wow. I think we got some comments. People are sharing a lot. I don't know if you can see the comments. I went ahead and I did put your there should be a comment set on your bottom screen. There should be of your Zoom. There should be says comment or a comment sign. I want you to press that. Yeah.
I'm in the chat.
I got your I do have your of your services here. I have it here. Elevated Cities core graduate, got you there. But it looks like Vanetta was saying Bank of America Women Entrepreneurship Fellowship is at Cornell is very informative and helped me set a structure to my business operation, customers, goals for growth, better structure. Trail said, "I'll come to you
and
next
you
time."
need those things.
No problem.
See, so just even that comment about Cornell, right? Maybe I entered the circuit of fellowships and those types of things through the school or through, a fellowship that doesn't offer funding first. They offer structure and operational support. That structure and operational support prepares you for the next opportunity, which may be an incubator or an accelerator. What you want to do is go from fellowship or apprenticeship to incubator to accelerator. And the difference between an incubator and an accelerator is that an incubator, well, all of these things, the difference between all of those things, whether it be an internship, apprenticeship, fellowship, incubator, and accelerator, is the state that the individual is in. So if you're not a student and you're not looking for a job, you're probably not going to be in an internship or a apprenticeship. If you're a business person or a scholar, most likely you will find benefit in a fellowship. That fellowship should prepare you for all of your earliest stage things, like having a strategic plan, understanding the industry that you're in, your impact, your goals, and your objectives, helping you articulate that in a way that you then qualify for an incubator. The incubator will take a person who has an operational idea. They're not super past seed stage. They're at a stage where, hey, this is written down. I have a website. I kind of am mocking up. I have a couple of clients, maybe I have no clients, but I'm ready to take my first client. That person goes into an incubator or a fellowship. Either one will help them, because if their fellowship offers money, if you're going to stay in a fellowship, if you're going to continue to do fellowships, you should go from the ones that are based on helping you form the idea to the ones that are ready to fund the idea. But if you're not going to stay in fellowships, you need to go from a fellowship or an early situation that helps you document, like the young person said about Cornell. Help you document the idea so that you qualify for an incubator or a paid fellowship. And then you go from that incubator to an accelerator that is going to say, hey, you need these many years on paper. We need to have already seen that you've made some progress. You've done a couple of things. And now we want to infuse you with 6 figures and a couple of high network and net worth individuals that can really get you to where you need to be. So this is all about achieving commerciality, achieving capacity, achieving you. And this all will have to come from you as the entrepreneur saying, because I can want to be an entrepreneur and I can open up a company, a mom and pops, and work for myself, satisfy myself with enough income that allows me to bring in a salary, pay my rent, live my life. But then I can be an entrepreneur that really is looking to enterprise, that is looking to grow an organization where I can employ and pay others. That is going to be subsequent. But the reason why I'm going to open up an organization that can pay or, work with others is because I want the capacity, the impact of what I'm doing to stretch farther than just my hometown or just me and my family. And so like some of these things are predicated on your very early ideas of what it is to be an entrepreneur and where you're going to go. I'm a person that often believes that once you've said what you said and you're going to do what you're going to do, it prescribes itself. Like I did not, I'm a person that works nationally and locally, and these are not things that I wanted to do. Yeah, I don't mind to do. I love my work. I love my life, but it is necessary for me to do this if I am to have the statewide and the national impact that I say that I'm going to have.
Absolutely. Man, hope y'all writing this down. I know I'm learning. I'm seeing Tony, Dr. Fenor. She said, "Go Dogs." I received a fellowship from SREB for my doctorate. I'm not sure what SREB. You guys probably know what that is.
SREB.
What does that mean, Dr. Fenor?
Southern Regional Entrepreneurship and Business.
Oh well, hey, man,
Yes.
you sound like you got it. Oh, you guessed that.
I guess that. But I want to give you guys, I know you said you wanted some specifics, like which fellowship should we go to, and
Yeah.
So so again, my work is in the social sector, right? I talk about economic mobility. I talk about working with marginalized, oops, sorry. I talked about working with marginalized communities and things like that. And so a number of the fellowships that I entered also had a focus on economic mobility, education, or civic engagement. And so the popular ones that I know of that are in my space are people like Echo and Green, New Profit, Bill and Melinda Gates, Annie E. Casey or the Casey Family Foundation, Truist Bank and Watson Institute, or Truist Foundation rather, and Watson Institute. And then there are various small little fellowships and opportunities that are cropping up at colleges and universities, and institutions that do research. They're usually parking money to support their research, and that money is being put into these makeshift fellowships or incubators in order for them to collect data about whatever new curriculum they want to teach, or about whatever they want to do. But to your benefit, you get the support of the professors and the support of their networks and whatever funding they have to supplement your time. The ones that I named specifically, like Echo and Green and New Profit, these are things that people aspire to be in because they normally run accelerators that are for individuals that are, in my opinion, that are really halfway there, a little bit maybe more than halfway there, because you have to really be good at articulating who you are and what you're doing and your impact and your proximity to the issue. But at those same agencies, they are creating. So if you look at it, they're creating smaller instances too. So New Profit, for example, just was funded by Ballmer, Ballmer. Ballmer is a certain type of nonprofit, but it's a certain type of I don't know why I'm tongue tied. It's a certain type of foundation. Okay. So you sometimes have two types of foundations, ones that kind of do a little bit of a direct service, and then ones that strictly do philanthropic venture capital. They do not do anything but raise money from high net worth people and create investment thesis and solely give it out to slightly smaller foundations that then do it again to assess the community and give that money out. So Ballmer gave New Profit and Echo and Green like $40 million to invest in Black entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs who are specifically focused on economic development. And then New Profit and Echo and Green decided to allow Echo and Green to be the people that review the applications because they are revered for their application process, and New Profit to actually give the money out and incubate the individuals because they are revered for their innovation and support. And so what you find is that these foundations will create sort of an industrial complex out of themselves and flow money directly from the government down to each other, trying to identify certain types of entrepreneurs. So you can search for press release, but on things like that, who's what they call NOFOs, notices of funding, or we know them as we see a stage after that called RFPs, requests for funding, or they're allowing us to know that that's what they want. So it's about like kind of knowing that language, kind of seeking out the individuals too. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, once you kind of seed yourself, this is what I was gonna say. Mm-hmm. So some of the platforms that you can find. So if you're a nonprofit, and sorry if majority of you guys are not nonprofits, but if you are a nonprofit, then you can look for information and opportunities on spaces like candid.org. because they're going to collect information about 990s. They're going to, which is how organizations spend money, where they place their money, what they're investing in. And if you're specifically looking on those in those spaces for foundations, trying to track how and why they're giving, that's going to be explicitly written there on their tax forms. But then if you're a for-profit, places that you can look for funding or information is through fiscal sponsorship. And so let me see if I have my book. Oop, I do. It's right here. I want to show you guys this book. You can take a picture of it. But it's called 6 Ways to Do It Right. It's about fiscal sponsorship, and it's great. And it's great for both for-profit. Let me know if my background is blending this out. Can you see that book?
It is a little blended. I'm gonna put the I'm gonna look for it and put it
I'll put it in the chat.
It's called 6 what?
6 Ways to Do It Right. Fiscal Sponsorship by Gregory L. Colvin and Stephanie L. Peck. This is the second volume, and they have a new model called Model L. You can probably just Google Model L and it might come all the way up. But I would love to. I most likely after we finish this call, I'll scan this and send it to you. I can scan it on my phone and send it to you, Mr. Ford, and you can share at least this model out to the group, because the L model specifically talks about how for-profits and LLCs can leverage the relationships with nonprofits in order to get funding. And so that is my bridge for you all, is that if you are a for-profit and you're looking for fellowships or funding, you can create a fellowship for yourself. You can have an idea and you can present that idea to a nonprofit, and the nonprofit can support you in raising money for it, and you just execute the work as a contractor. You can own that idea wholly. There's several models in here that depict how the for-profit can continue to own their idea and collect the money. But then there's ways here if the nonprofit if the for-profit or even an unincorporated group doesn't care to, own the project, they just need funding to support it. There's other models in here that allow the foundation to support it or own it.
Great. Hey, guys, I put a link to the book in the chat. We're gonna stop here. When I say stop, not stop you. We're gonna open up now the floor to individuals who might have questions about fellowship or have experience with fellowship, might have some questions for Mr. Daniel Rosebud. Does anybody have questions for Mr. Daniel Rosebud? Because I don't want to be selfish. I'm just now, I guess, learning about fellowships now. I don't want to hog all the questions here. Does anybody have a question for Mr. Rosebud?
I appreciate you.
Hey, no problem, man. No. Like I said, I got your flyer. We're good to go. If they don't got a question, I'll keep going. All right. Well, let me bust a couple of mine, because I obviously don't have a fellow. I've never been to fellowship. But
recommendations are always good. I'll say that if there are fellowships that you guys uncover and of a past participant, so like Echo and Green is a very, like I mentioned, a very hard fellowship to get into, and so we network ourselves. Once you're in these fellowships, I have several friends. My friend Alex Perry, who runs One Up out of Philadelphia, he's like the poster child for one of these fellowships. So they, these individuals help you understand the application process. It's, you really want to get the closest to maybe an invitation if you can, right? If you've never had experience in these spaces, it's about being creative with your network to seed another network, right? It's about having one foot where you are and one foot where you're going. That is the key to innovation. Not ever having both feet where you are and not ever having both feet in the future. You have to kind of be right in the middle. And so part of that is like talking to individuals that have been there. Maybe some of the rules have changed, but then getting an understanding of what is the application process? Is there funding to be had? I know people that were disappointed in some of the fellowships that we've engaged because they didn't understand really all of what they were going to get, or they didn't feel like they got enough. But I digress.
No problem. Hey, do me a favor. Can you drop your LinkedIn in the chat for me?
Yeah. Yes. Let me just go over to copy it. And
again, so again, what I want, I'm trying to get everybody to go to your LinkedIn page, give you a recommendation. So what we're doing, you're going to put your link in the chat, and we'll go ahead and connect with you, because as we just learned, you have to connect first. We'll send out some connection requests, and then go down to the bottom of their page of Mr. Rosebud's page, and give him a nice recommendation and thank him for coming out today and sharing all this information about fellowships. And I obviously have been overlooking my whole life. And it looks like
I'll put my social media on there too. I think I spelled that right.
Yeah, let's go to
and
your
then I would, my organization does do project management, as I said, and it's open to all professionals. Our mission is to tool young adults that would like to work in the social sector, but these are great certifications for an individual that's trying to transition into another career, or if you're looking for something slightly more technical to add to your notary license, that you can go in and manage a situation as well as notarize all the documents that may come across you, right? And sometimes people add that process too. Like, a notary process isn't always added into a flow down or a downflow of information in an organization, but it very well could be a quality checkpoint if offered well, right? Before business plans, before project plans go live, that they are notarized by individuals, So I want to leave my email here for anyone that is interested, and I'm going to convene with GaNN and Mr. Ford and Samantha and just figure out a very great price point to offer you guys for these certificates. Please, Mr. Ford, share with them an example of the purple certificate that I sent you. That is, and the domain objectives. Both of those documents display the 4 quadrants that we're teaching on or that we're training on, and then the resulted certificate. That certificate you can take and qualify for a PMP. I also shared my PMP license with you, and so you can share that with the group, so they can see what that progression looks like.
Excellent. I'm trying to download it now. I don't know why it's not pulling up, but I do have the certificate that you did share with
probably add it.
Yes, you can. Someone asked what is PMP. I was like, wait a minute.
That does not stand for pill.
I'm revealing my age, 50 Cent. But what is PMP? Just out of curiosity.
Project management practitioner or professional. So like when it stands for professional, that means that you're doing the work. When it stands for practitioner, that means that you're a licensed educator on the topic. But the practitioner piece is just gained through partnership with the university. So I'm a project management practitioner.
I can't pull it up, but I definitely want people to be able to see it.
Yeah. Let me just share it.
Yeah, definitely. You can share it on LinkedIn. I mean, on LinkedIn, on Zoom.
It's on there
going to the bottom. If you see in the group chat, there's this thing that said file at the bottom on the group chat, and you hit file, pull it up from your computer. It'll drop.
Should I share all 3 pieces that I mentioned, or
I share the yellow one. But again, if you want to put all 3 in, you just go to the chat box and you just hit file, the little square with the page, and it will let you. I would choose download, check my computer, wherever you have it stored, and it will drop inside of the chat.
Okay, I'm just sending it to my phone. I mean, yep. And if you need me to step off, I can. I'm just going to share this and I'll drop it in.
No, I want you to share information. Again, does anybody have a question for Mr. Rosebud as far as fellowships are concerned, or any experience with the fellowship? I know some of us already said that we do. And he did share his LinkedIn here, right? So we want to go there, connect first, get the connection. He approves it, and then we'll go ahead and leave the gentleman a recommendation. Because I looked at your profile, man. Very nice profile.
Thank you so much. I'm having some technical difficulties over here, but let me see how I get this over. Zoom doesn't want to access my regular media files.
Yeah. We can always, and we
Um,
have, just so you feel comfortable, we do have everybody's email address who joined us today. We can always forward them via email the stuff that the
okay,
information over.
please do. Forward them the examples and
Yeah, the
my
yellow, you
email
have the
address.
certificate, and then you have the project management sort of PDF outliner book that I have as well. So I do have all those.
Yes.
We'll be able to go ahead and send it all to them.
Sorry, man.
We have all their stuff. So myself and GA and we'll work on that because we definitely want people to be able to have what you offer and to reference you when necessary. Again, I want to thank you for coming on, young brother, out here doing his thing, working in the community. I can't tell you how much that excites me. To see young brothers out here doing the thing. And again, thank you so much. Again, we have his LinkedIn profile up here. Let's go to his profile. Let's connect. And once you accept the connections, and I'm sure they're coming in now, let us go to your recommendation section and write a recommendation for your services because you did a great job today.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate GaNN again for just inviting me on this platform, and just more blessings to everyone. If you need any support, I'm here. Just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Round of applause for my man in the streets working. Let's go. Round up. Round up. Yeah, go to his LinkedIn profile once he accepts the connection request and give him a nice recommendation at the bottom of the screen. You can say that you worked with him on the section where it asks how you know him. I'm sure he has his organization's name there. Click the organization name because it comes across when people read it. It gives his organization better credibility of people being there to just saying you just worked with somebody. So again, we got the thank yous coming in. Tony says thank you. Gloria says thank you. Everybody's very thankful.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
You're going to be senator one day.
Let's go. Let's go. We need it.
You never know. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Have a great day. Great presentation, guys. Again, I didn't know anything about fellowships. I wrote down a whole lot of notes, and I'm very excited to see that so many of you guys are actually using fellowships as well. We will get his information to you via email. Just give us a day or two once we get everybody's email address, and we'll send that out to you. I think that's very fair and very informative. I just wasn't able to pull it up and share it on my screen, only one of them. Well, we are rolling along. All right. It is now 2 o'clock. What we're going to do, we're going to do something different. We're going to do a 5 to 10 minute break, and then we're going to come back and immediately hop into our next guest speaker, Miss Andrea Pratt-Smith. She will be talking about the power of global networking and community building for entrepreneurs. When I saw that word network, don't nobody network harder than me. I love networking. So I'm excited to see what she has to say, particularly around the networking portion. Again, thank our sponsors, Truett, the other individuals that I mentioned before. Again, sit back, relax, give us 5 to 7 minutes, and we'll come right back with our next guest speaker. And then following that, there will be another speaker, perhaps someone charming, good looking, wearing a green blazer, who will present on LinkedIn as well. I know you guys are guessing who it is. It's not Genuine, it's me. So we'll be back. She's like, you're not Genuine at all. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Take a break, get some water, use the restroom, and come on back, okay? Let's go.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to lost them with all of these acronyms and these certifications, but this just to give you an idea of my continuous learning journey and to tell you that I live in the Bahamas. So, I'm not a part of Georgia, but I live in the Bahamas. I'm the CEO of Creative Minds Project Development and Consultation. I'm also the founder of the Bahamas Agile and Project Management Community. I am an international speaker. I just started that journey recently. I'm a youth leader. I've been doing youth work and working in ministry for over 20 years. I'm also an advisory board member for FemSTEM Bahamas. And I recently became a professional Kanban trainer with prokanban.org. Now, when you talk about living in the Bahamas, I don't know how many of you have vacationed in the Bahamas or feel as though you've been to the Bahamas because you've taken a cruise to the Bahamas, which I don't think that counts. If you haven't gotten off the cruise ship or spent a night in the Bahamas, you haven't been to the Bahamas. So living in the Bahamas, we're an archipelago of 700 islands and keys. And we say that, but only about 16 or 17 of those islands are actually inhabited. Many of the keys are purchased by celebrities. So I live on the island of Nassau, which is 21 by 7 miles. I know most of you drive more than 21 miles every day if you have to commute from your home to your place of business. But so you can actually circle the island that I live on a few times in your daily transit. And sometimes working on an island, it gets lonely because you feel as though I only could work within my space. I only could function in my geographical region. But I'm here today to let you know that that's not the case. Not because you're an entrepreneur and you're registered and licensed in a particular country means that you're confined by the borders of that country. And so one of the first things that I did was become the first professional Kanban trainer in the entire Caribbean region, and the only one in the Bahamas. And these photos were taken at an event that I went to in January of this year in Alpharetta, Georgia, with prokanban.org, where we actually had a session where we did a face-to-face and a train the trainer. And being a newly certified trainer, I actually took the money that I made from my first training course and reinvested that into myself and attended this event because I felt it was important to meet fellow trainers and to also meet the founders of this organization who I wanted to build a relationship with. I knew that I wanted to be a trainer for a while. This is something that is a boost to my business. And so meeting them and networking with them was an investment that I decided to make. And that happened in January in Alpharetta, Georgia, at the Improving headquarters. And for those of you who says that Black people don't get a seat at the table, I'm seated at the table. So in that picture at the bottom, I actually have a seat at the table, and they were very interested in my ideas about how they can improve the organization. So I did have a chance to dialogue with them and give them my perspective about what's going right, what's not going right, and how they can improve the offering, not only for trainers, but for students. And I travel with my flag. So
what is Kanban?
Kanban is a strategy for visualizing the flow of work that optimizes effectiveness, efficiency, and predictability in workflow. So that's what Kanban is. And I travel with my flag. Like I said, I'm a very proud Bahamian. So everywhere I go, you'll see me with my flag. And when I pull it out, persons are like, where she's going with this flag? You know, that's very odd. So I just make them take pictures with me anyway. So a stat by Harvard Business Review, they said that 80% of professionals say that networking gave them a more meaningful and successful career. And in researching for this presentation, I went on your Georgia Notary Network's website. And it says that you're a community that wants to connect, learn, and expand business opportunities. And it actually had a frequently asked questions section. I say, how do we do this? As a new notary, how do you get business or how do you get assignments as a notary? And they advise you, network locally and online, attend events, join groups, and make connections. So you'll see that a lot of networking is about making connections, building those connections that are strategic to help you with your business. Why should you do this? What are the benefits? So the benefits are you get access to diverse markets and customer bases. Like I said, I live in the Bahamas. Our population is not even 1 million people. We may have 500,000 people living in the Bahamas. So as a trainer, a professional Kanban trainer, my base is not in the Bahamas. I don't seek students in the Bahamas. My student base is global, international. My first class, I had a student from Singapore. I had one from London. I had 3 from the US, and I had 1 Bahamian sitting in that class. So that goes to show you your diverse market and your customer base doesn't have to be limited by where you are geographically located. And also a benefit is learning from different cultures and business practices. One of the things that I found interesting in working with different cultures is that Bahamians think a certain way. We would think that having a slide deck that show your professional accreditations is, being, they call it, think you're better than people, or, you're braggadocious. But no, I've learned in business and working internationally that you have to self-promote. You have to have that confidence to be able to express and display what it is that you've been able to accomplish. Why play down my accomplishments when I'm proud of them? But in the Bahamas, it's taboo to talk about what you've obtained and what you've achieved, because they make it feel as though, you're trying to brag about yourself. But you have to learn how to self-promote as an entrepreneur, because even though you have persons who give you testimonials and, we like referrals and all that kind of stuff, but you have to be able to sell yourself at the end of the day. First and foremost, be able to sell yourself. So another benefit is opportunities for collaboration and partnerships. This event is one of those examples. I was asked to make an application to be a speaker, to present on a topic that I felt was something that I felt as though I was a subject matter expert about. And it's an opportunity to collaborate and form partnerships. So I didn't even know what the Georgia Notary Network was prior to this invitation. So I'm glad that I'm able to now sit and present and meet fellow persons in the field who I feel as though we can build connections and actually do business with in the future. So another thing that's a benefit is insights into emerging trends and innovation worldwide. As a project management professional, technology changes so rapidly, and you have to be on the cutting edge in order to stay ahead of the crowd. And the only way you can do that is if you have to get off this island, get out of the proverbial bubble, and learn what's happening in the rest of the world. And technology hasn't reached the shores of the Bahamas as it has to the rest of the world. And I'm seeing that in my daily work because I work with international clients. And when you talk about Agile, you talk about Scrum, you talk about Kanban, the masses does not even know what those terms mean. And so I'm learning about what's high tech, what's innovative, what's the now. And we're seeing such an influx of artificial intelligence. And that's what's being talked about the most on LinkedIn and these different meetup groups, and everyone's talking about doing training about AI, and they're trying to instill fear in people and say, if you don't know how to use AI, your job is going to be taken over by artificial intelligence and they're going to replace you with a machine. That's not true. But you cannot go listen to the noise in the market. You have to do your own research, understand how trends are changing and how innovation is expanding and growing in the world. And you have to be the one to do that research by going out and meeting people, having conversations, and not just listening to the noise in the market. Next up, let's talk about building a global community. Like I said on my introduction slide, I am the founder of the Bahamas Agile and Project Management Community. This community of practice I founded in June of 2021. And basically, it started because there was a need for it. I could not find a community of practice for Agilists or project managers in the Bahamas. And I decided that I was going to not allow fear to stop me from being an innovator. And I took the leap and I formed this community of practice. And the first 6 months, I self-funded it. I did my research. I found out who may have been interested, and I got the ball rolling. It was not until January of 2022 that the Scrum Alliance, we made application for sponsorship and we got picked up by the Scrum Alliance, and now we're part of the Scrum Alliance Network Pro user group. Now, that is an awesome accomplishment in and of itself. because when I went and I made application to the Scrum Alliance, and I asked the lady, I said, do you need me to give you financials about what the community costs, about how many members we presently have, our projections for the future, our plans for the future? She said, no, I don't need you to send me anything besides your bank account information. And I asked her, I said, why is that? Don't you need to do like background check on myself and, how I was managing the community and all that stuff? She said, no, you came highly recommended. I don't need anything from you besides your bank account. So it's very important when you build these networks that you maintain some level of integrity so that you don't have to defend yourself. Your reputation precedes you, and that's very important in global networking. Now, how can you leverage technology for global networking? Like I said, I'm the founder of a community of practice. We started online during the pandemic, and we have virtual meetups the last Thursday of every month. And the majority of our followers are not Bahamians. Who's shocked by that? The majority of our followers are actually from the international community. 80% of the persons who attend our meetups are from the international community. And we have in-person events, and they're not very well attended. And it's not because there's no value in the community of practice that we are providing. It's because that's not our market. The Bahamians haven't caught on that this community of practice exists, that this has a benefit for me, that I can actually advance my career by being a part of this community. They just haven't seen the value of it. And I'm trying my endeavor best. Like, I work the ground like nobody else. And I try my endeavor best to make persons aware of how this community of practice can benefit them. But it's a slow process, but we have our growing pains, and I understand that. So we'll just grow through it. At this point, does anyone have any questions? Okay, but we could save the questions for the end. I love this quote by Zig Ziglar, because he talks about having everything in life if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And I'm a strong advocate for volunteerism. I believe in helping others. I don't think that I should just hold out my hand and receive. And persons have this concept about, if I give it away, then that's less for me. But if you look at a fist, if you have a closed fist, can you receive anything? No. It's only when you open your fist that you can receive, because you've given. So now your palm is still open. That means you can receive. And that's what I've been experiencing in my career. The more I give, the more is given to me. So, strategies for building and nurturing global relationships. These are some of the things that I've actually put into action. One of them being authentic. What you see is what you get. Ain't no flaky, fakey, nobody around here. However I am is what I am. What you see is what you get. And when I interact with people, I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And sometimes they're like, well, I can't understand your strong Bahamian accent, but I'm comfortable with my strong Bahamian accent. And I believe in, if I told you I'm going to be somewhere, that I show up. So your word has to be your bond. Nobody wants to engage with another person who is, first of all, not going to treat them fairly and is not going to honor their time. We actually have a thing in the Bahamas called Bahamian time. I don't believe in it. I don't subscribe to it. But it's like, because people say we live on an island, everybody is relaxed and they go on this island time. So you're always late. That's not true. I'm a project manager. First and foremost, I know that there's 86,400 seconds in every day. And if I don't make the most of my time, then that's shame on me. But that goes both ways, because if somebody tells you to show up for a meeting at 10 a.m. and they're at their office, but they want you to sit in the waiting room for half an hour because they want to act like they're so busy, and what they have to do is more important than what you have to do, they're not respecting your time. So I would say, do not allow anybody to waste your time, and vice versa. Do not waste people's time. Try to be as punctual as you can in everything that you do, and be authentic and genuine in your interactions with people, because they will respect you for the little things first. Reciprocity. Like I said, an open fist and a closed fist, there's a difference. When you give, you will get. And you have to value your network. Don't make relationships transactional. Please don't. Don't look at someone and say, how can this person advance my career? How can I make money off of this person? How can this person support me? If you go with the attitude of, how can I help this person? Then you don't even have to get that return from that individual. The return will come in some other form. But if you have a genuine desire to help people, you will always, the universe will work in your favor. Let's put it like that. The universe will work in your favor, and you will get whatever is coming to you, and you will get benefits from that. But, it goes to being consistent and persistent in your efforts to build community. Nothing happens overnight, and nobody reaches the top in a minute. It's a journey, and we have to accept the growing pains, the successes, as well as the challenges, and know that every failure is an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to grow. So don't think if you make one move into building a relationship and somebody does something that makes you think twice on, you get timid about going out and being vulnerable again and connecting with people. You have to learn from that experience. Don't allow persons to cause you to go back into your shell and say, well, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to connect with people because people aren't real. People are fake. That's just wasting my time. Every relationship is different. And normally you would find that when you're a genuine person and what you give, that person will see the authenticity in your attitude and everything that you do, and they will treat you accordingly. So you have to, first of all, make people realize that there's a certain level of treatment that goes with you, and put some respect behind your name. Like stand for something. If you said, listen, the meeting is at 10 a.m., don't sit around in nobody's office for 10:30, 11 o'clock waiting for them to come and address you. Listen, I went to meetings and persons tell me come at a certain time and they'd have me sitting in the waiting room. 10 minutes, that's it. I would tell the secretary, please rebook me because my time is valuable. I don't have time to sit down and wait in this person's office until they're ready to speak to me. So build your relationships, know what you stand for, be authentic, be genuine, practice reciprocity, and be consistent and persistent in your efforts to build your community. Embrace diversity and inclusivity. I had to learn this because being in the Bahamas, our culture is different from the culture in the US. So DEI is something that I had to personally invest in and learning about because our practice and our customs and our norms are different from working from people internationally. And the pronouns was a big one for me. So when somebody joined my project team and they said they want to be addressed as them and their, it was hard for me to understand the conversation because when the other team members would come in the conversation and say, well, they something, something, something. I'm like, who's they? I didn't understand the pronouns because in our culture, they and them and their means more than one person. I didn't understand that you could have a pronoun that is singular for something plural. So I'm still learning how to adapt to those different aspects of diversity and inclusivity, but it's a learning process. And I do explain to persons, listen, I'm not familiar with that. I don't mean any disrespect. And, please allow me to learn how you would like for me to address you. It's a learning curve, but it's something that I want to pay attention to because I don't want no one to feel as though I'm disrespecting them in the way that I communicate with them. So I need a time check, please.
You have, I thought I was up. I'm sorry. Yes, you still have 20 minutes,
Okay. All right, good. So this is an
questioning too as well. So you got it.
Okay. So this is a African proverb that I really love. And it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And I'm so glad to see Dr. Tanya Fenora and Catherine Smith are on this call because they're actually some of my associates. And Dr. Tanya Fenora, I did a Communicate with Confidence course with her, and she is one of the reasons why I can now use that international speaker as part of my bio. So thank you for that, Dr. Fenora. So I wanted to share with you a few of the networking experiences that I just recently had and those that are coming up in the future so that I could give you some examples. Yesterday, I did a blog radio talk with this lady named Elaine Jackson. She's out of Westchester County, Massachusetts, totally online. She recorded the session and uploaded on her LinkedIn profile, talking about a project manager's journey, how to accelerate your success. This was just yesterday. Then yesterday evening, I was in Kansas City, Missouri, giving a presentation with one of my team members about how we build the Bahamas Agile and project management community of practice. And we spoke about our growing pains, our challenges, our successes, and how our community is thriving. We had a lot of persons interested in building community of practices within their organizations, and they felt as though our journey was very helpful to them as far as getting some tips and insights into what they could possibly do to start their own community of practices, and some of our pitfalls and what we learned as lessons learned. We shared those with them, because the journey is not only rainbows and sunshine, there's dark days as well. And one of the things that we learned, what was very important, is that we had team members. We started out with a big team. First of all, we had like 10 volunteers, and we had to cut that team down to 3 because everybody wanted a title. Everybody wanted some recognition, and that's not what the community was about. They couldn't understand our shared vision. Next week, we're having one of your natives, Katrina Coca. She lives in Sugar Hill, Georgia. She's coming to our community of practice to speak about how to get experience as a Scrum Master without being a Scrum Master. So she's going to be joining us on August 31st for our meetup, where we meet the last Thursday of every month, online, virtually. And Katrina Coca, we're happy to have her join us for this session. She's somebody who I met in Georgia in January, but I was following her on social media prior to that. So it was good to meet her in person. Coming up in September, I will be traveling to Nairobi, Kenya to speak at the PMI Africa Conference. And this is something that I'm very much looking forward to. This will be my first in-person speaking event internationally. And I am going to network the hell out of this event and build not only my personal network, but also network with persons who can help me with some of the projects that I'm working on. Locally, at least not locally, but a few months ago, I participated in a social justice bill with the 48 and 48 community that's based in Georgia. Then they actually have a 48 and 48 session coming up in October, 6 through 8, where this is an organization, a nonprofit that builds 48 websites in 48 hours for 48 organizations. In 48 hours, sorry. And when I first participated, I participated along with Catherine Smith, who's on the call as well. And she got me so excited about the first 48 and 48 event that she did. And she was talking about how her team came 3rd. And I was like, oh, I want to be a part of that too. I want to join your build team. And I joined her build team. And we actually came 2nd in June at the social justice bill. So Catherine Smith, a huge shout out to you for introducing me to 48 and 48. At their upcoming event in October, I've already spoke to the organizers and told them that I'm bringing a team from the Bahamas. So we have a team Bahamas that's participating in this event. We're going to be building websites for nonprofits, and this is a great opportunity for global networking and volunteerism, because I'm a huge proponent of volunteerism. And talking about volunteerism, has nothing to do with volunteerism. This is strictly business. Like I said, I'm a professional Kanban trainer. And in October, I have a upcoming Applying Professional Kanban course. There's an early bird special going on right now until seats are filled. And this is my opportunity to collaborate. When I spoke about the Agile Kansas City, one of the organizers is Jennifer Steelman, and I presented at her community last night. Her and I will be co-training for this training session in October. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll give you all the information about how to sign up for this professional Kanban training. Then at the end of October, I'll be traveling to Atlanta to attend the PMI Global Summit 2023, which is a very huge event for project management professionals. And I just learned last night that the Women in Agile scholarship that I applied for, that I was actually successful in achieving that scholarship. So yay, Women in Agile, they are going to pay for my ticket to attend this session, which saves me a couple $100. So I'm really happy about that. And Women in Agile is one of the organizations that I am a part of. They support women who are in the Agile space with continuous learning, attending conferences, training, and networking. So they have chapters all over the globe, Like I'm being contacted by Women in Agile Africa today to be able to put in a proposal to speak at their upcoming conference in October. As far as projects that I'm working on, I am engaging with the Avasant Foundation, which is a youth empowerment organization. Employed youth. And this is a project that is a nonprofit organization. And it's near and dear to my heart. Being a youth leader for over 20 years, I am very passionate about youth empowerment. So I'm very excited to work with this company and on this project. Also, I work with a company called Full Circle, and they're a nonprofit as well. And actually, Dr. Tanya Fenor and Catherine Smith are part of our Wisdom Circle team, so they're advisors with Full Circle. And this is an international project that we're working on, building a platform for virtual Black storytelling centered on Africa and the diaspora, and we're people with purpose acting to change the world. And Catherine Smith actually is the web designer for Full Circle's website. In conclusion, I know I spoke a long time, and I hope you guys caught a lot of nuggets. But in conclusion, I want to let you know that all of the things that you saw me spoke about, it didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of networking. It took a lot of building connections. It took a lot of effort on my part. And I set goals. So as a project manager, I know the importance of setting goals, being realistic with those goals, having a plan, and taking action. And it's so important. The third step is so important because you could have all the goals in the world, but if you don't come out of your comfort zone and take action, nothing will ever happen. So that's my takeaway. That's my final note to you. You have to be proactive. You have to be the one to go out there, put yourself out there. You can't sit in the room and say, woe is me. I don't have a network. No one's following me. I can't get business. You have to go where the people are. You know, at one time I used to call myself an introvert, and people always be like, that's not true. You're not an introvert. You're very much an extrovert. You're out there, you're talking to people, but it's the process that happens before the on-screen part that nobody sees. It's that part where I have to tell myself I could do it. I have to be my own motivational coach and tell myself, you can do it, you can do it. And then it's something powerful that happens once I put on lipstick. I feel like, you know, once you have lipstick on, you can sit in front of the camera and accomplish anything. So that's my superpower. And I hope that you would take advantage of the opportunities, not only in Georgia to expand your network, but you would see that coming from an island girl who lives on an island that is only 21 miles long, that I can expand my global reach to the world. I can get offers for speaking events internationally. I can network with persons, serve in different capacities, give of myself, and receive. So I encourage you to have that same mindset. Know that nothing is impossible. There's no such thing as can't. Once you put in the effort, you will reap the rewards. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me this time to speak to you and share my experiences. And I hope that we can meet in the future with a mutually beneficial connection. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. Let's come off of mute. Give a round of applause. Throw an emoticon up, an emoji. It looks like it was a lot of a few seconds. Ready? And then thank you for coming and speaking with the crew over here at GaNN. This is our third year for us meeting. So we're very excited to have a representative from Chuk here as well. And then, of course, the information that you're going to share with us will be very, 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 very valuable. So what I'm going to do is give the microphone over to you, let you take it from here, and then sit back, relax, and take some notes. Guys, let's give a round of applause for Mr. Lakeisha Mathis. Come on, guys. Put an emoticon up. This is great. This is great.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me today. The title of my presentation today is just Business Finance Basics, and just the simple things that we need to know when owning our businesses as it relates to having a banking account. So thank you again for making time for me to share today. My name is Lakeisha Mathis. I am waiting on my screen, the Vice President Branch Leader at the Woodruff Park location of Truist Bank in downtown Atlanta. I have been with the company for about 15 years, so I have a little bit of knowledge that I can share with you all in regards to just owning your own business and how banking can help you with owning your own business. So at Truist, our goal is to inspire and build better lives in communities. One of the ways we do that is through just what I'm doing right now, taking a moment to speak with clients, the community about financial literacy and about what it takes in order to be successful business owners. We build our communities by supporting small businesses. We believe in partnership. We believe in commitment. We believe in celebrating small businesses. We believe that small businesses are the backbone of our communities, and we feel like we are a big bank with a personal touch, and that's what differentiates us from other banks. That's our calling card. So today, what I want to talk about is improving the cash flow for your business, continuing to build and expand your business, and protecting your business. So fundamentals of business growth. Everybody's business is unique, but there are a few things that are just that are common to all businesses. One, all businesses should have business bank accounts. What we see often is that startup businesses often merge their business and their personal finances, which makes it a real big headache when you get ready to separate them for tax reporting purposes. Other things that make a comment amongst business owners is efficient methods to receive payments, which is merchant services. Some people are able to Zelle it, and you were before not having to report on the taxes through Zelle, and now the IRS has changed it to where now you gotta report that Zelle transaction. Other ways that people take payments is through debit and credit cards, being able to do online payments, P2P, different things of that nature. Making payments to suppliers, cash flow management tools, access to credit, and even insurance companies, insurance coverage are all things that are common when it comes to owning your own business. The first thing we're going to talk about is managing your business cash flow. I know I don't have a way to ask you all questions, so it's going to be a monologue more so than a dialogue. When it comes to business accounts, reasons that you should have a business account is because it helps you manage your business. It helps you determine what money is coming in the business and what money is coming out of the business. It also helps you understand and manage the cash flow. It helps you to establish a professional reputation. When you have someone that's paying you for the services that you provide, if they're paying your company, that legitimizes your business a little bit more than them paying you individually. And it also helps you comply with IRS regulations. How do we keep our business and personal finances separate? The first thing we need to do is register our business with the Secretary of State. Most businesses are sole proprietorships. Most small business owners start out as sole proprietorships. One way to separate your business and your personal finances is by registering it with the Secretary of State and creating either a limited liability company or a corporation for that business. Once you do that, another way Another thing that needs to be done is to get an employer identification number. And we do that through going to irs.gov, and you can get that online immediately. Once you have those two things, then you can open a business checking account and request a debit card. The third thing that you can do to help separate your business and personal finances is opening a business credit card. What we see often is that people are using their personal credit and personal credit cards and personal loans in order to fund their businesses, not knowing that they can utilize a business credit card to help them with their cash flow. The last thing is pay yourself by transferring your salary from your business account to your personal account. That sets up a payment system for you so that you're able to say, okay, this is payroll that is going out of my account every single month, rather than, and to keep it separate for tax reporting purposes. We just talked about the things that you need in order to open up a business checking account. So we can go past this slide right here. Tips for business debit and credit card uses. Business debit cards are normally used for everyday purchases and ATM deposits. They provide, you can provide different business debit cards to employees who make purchases for the business. And you can actually put a limit on their card, on their debit card, so they won't have access to the full funds in their account. And it also helps you protect yourself from fraud. Business credit cards can also be used for everyday purchases to help you build your business credit. It can help you control cash flow and establish credit history for your business. With the business credit card, and again, it also can help you protect yourself from fraud. Next, we're going to talk about building and expanding your business. Why does a business need to borrow? What we often see is clients wanting to buy new locations or expand their current location. Or maybe they want to buy new equipment, tools, or supplies, or even just to get bit money to start up. And what about seasonal lulls in the business? Whereas you may have something that is a winter product or service, and you do more so in the winter than you do in the spring and summer, you still want to maintain that business year round. So that's where borrowing would come into play. Consolidating existing business debt. And then having available funds for growth opportunities in order for you to, there are times when you can't take on a bigger project because you don't have the upfront capital in order to take on a bigger project. And that's where borrowing would come into play. It will give you the money that you need to buy the equipment or the tools that you need in order to be able to service that bigger project in the interim until you get paid on that bigger project. Those are reasons that clients often borrow on the business. Other reasons are auto loans. Most business owners currently have their auto loans in their personal name versus in the business name, but it's being used for the business. Oftentimes, business owners don't know that they can put that vehicle that they have in their personal name in their business name, which will relieve some of the credit that you have on your personal side and take down your debt to income ratio on your personal side, which would free up you to be able to do more things on your personal side because that vehicle is now on the business side, you being used for the business. Oftentimes, business owners don't know that they can do that or that they should do that, something as simple as that. Solutions that you can use to borrow. There are small business loans, there are unsecured small business loans, and there are secured business loans. The difference between an unsecured and a secured business loan is an unsecured does not have any collateral tied to the loan at all. A secured business loan oftentimes has collateral tied to it, whether it be a CD, a certificate of deposit, whether it be equipment, or whether it be a vehicle that the client owns, or whether it even be land or a commercial property that the client has. Those are all things that would be a secured loan. So we have small business auto loans, small business commercial vehicle. A commercial vehicle is something like a transit van or something like that. That's what a commercial vehicle is. Or a small business equipment loan. You also have small business real estate loans and small business lines of credit. Keep in mind the differences between a loan and a line of credit is often the term, how long you'll be able to keep the loan for, and the interest rate. What to know about business loans. Oftentimes, what we don't know is, what clients don't know is when you're doing an unsecured business loan, you have to have been in business for at least 2 years before, a year and a half to 2 years before a major bank will finance an unsecured business loan for you. And the reason being is because they want to look at your business financials. They want to look at your tax returns to see how much money you're making, to see if you're able to sustain the loan that you're asking for. But there are other options that are available to you to get lending without having been in business for 2 years. Other options include things like a business credit card. You can utilize that as startup capital. You can also use a business vehicle loan, a business auto loan. You don't have to have been in business for a certain amount of time, a business equipment loan, or even a property loan. Loans that are often secured have collateral that to secure it. You don't have to be in business for a certain amount of time in order to get that loan. But loans that are unsecured, most banks are going to look for some type of financing, some type of tax returns to see what income the business is bringing in to make sure that they're able to pay back that loan. Based on what you all have seen today, what I want you to do is ask yourself, what are 3 action items that you can do that can help you achieve your business goal from a business financing perspective? My presentation was really short. It was shorter than what I thought it was going to be. But normally we have feedback where I'm able to ask questions in the midst of it, and that takes a little longer. So what I want to do is take the opportunity to open it up for questions, because there are normally a lot of questions when it comes to business lending. And I would love to be able to take a moment and answer those questions, take the rest of my time and be able to answer those questions for you all.
Excellent, excellent. Everybody, again, give it a emoticon, give it a hand clap, come off mute. This is a great presentation. I am sure I'm not the only one who has a bunch of questions. So with that being said, we're all going to open up the floor. We have Ms. Mathis here. You want to ask her some questions about business funding with Truett Bank, please feel free to do so. I know I wrote a couple down myself, but I'm going to open up to the floor. Does anybody have a question to start off with? All right, I'm assuming everybody has business credit here, and then they're good to go. I may be the only one, but I'll start out. So I use Stripe. Correct. And the reason I'm using Stripe because I was told after a little while they would give me, a loan or something like that. What would be the difference between having Stripe versus going to a bank itself? What would be, I guess, which is better, to use a bank for transactions or just use Stripe? If that makes sense.
Okay, I haven't heard of Stripe.
Ah, okay. It's like a payment system, like what's it called? Like Square or PayPal.
Okay. Okay.
So I go with these organizations because I was told if I work with them for a little while, it hasn't happened yet, that they would extend me a line of credit, you know, and that seems to be where everybody is going. Is that better to do versus going a bank? You see what I'm saying? That's a merchant process.
So here's the thing about going into a bank and getting financing from the bank. Everything is pretty much straightforward.
Mhm.
It's not about if you do this, then that. It
Mhm.
is really based upon your personal credit.
I see.
You are the guarantor for any loan, line of credit, credit card that you would use for financing through a bank. The interest rates are normally in line with what the federal government is offering. And it reports to your credit report, to both the business credit report and the personal credit report. Like I said, I can't speak to Stripe because I've not heard of Stripe. But even when I was looking up business loans today, because I was helping another client determine what loan would be the best loan for them, Stripe was not a company that came up for me.
Okay. Okay. And then I guess because
and that's just in my research.
How much? I mean, so I've seen videos where it's you know, you go to get a business versus credit loan, you can get 10 times more with the credit loan. Is you know, is that true? If we were to true it,
What's a credit loan?
you know, they would give you a line of credit, a credit loan, a line of credit, you know, for
Okay, so basically the way that it works is it'll do 2.5 times your annual revenue. That's the policy that is in place for a loan or a line of credit. It's both the same. So if I submit an application for a loan, the same I can do the same amount for a line of credit. If you're going to get if you get approved for the loan, you're going to get approved for the line of credit. But normally the line of credit is for short-term expenses. It's for something like cash flow. Let me go buy this equipment real quick and then I'm going to pay it back with my payroll the next payment cycle. That's normally what people use lines of credit for. The loan is for a longer term, like, and you will see that it is a longer term because it gives you up to 60 months to pay that back. The line of credit gives you up to 36 months. Even though you can refinance it after the 36 months is up, it's still only for 36 months. Borrow, pay back, borrow, pay back, borrow, pay back.
Okay, snap. And someone says good to know the difference between a loan and a line of credit. I believe Swan have a question. And what type of cars can you put in your business's name?
Any.
So like the Porsche. Like
any.
Do you have
Are
to
you
have
using it for your business?
Do you have to have it bubble wrapped?
No.
All right.
You're using it for your business. You're putting miles on it. I have a caterer, and the caterer travels from appointment to appointment in their vehicle. He's literally using that vehicle for his business. So, I mean, and that's a common misconception. A common misconception is that people think you can't put passenger vehicles on the business, get a business loan for a passenger vehicle, and you can't. You're using that vehicle for your business.
Okay. Well, dropping by. Hey, real quick, Swan had another question. What was that question again that we ask ourselves? The questions, I believe, go back on your presentation.
I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the chat. So if you're chatting, I'm not looking. I'm trying to stay up to focus.
I guess the question on your presentation before the conclusion, I think there was two question that you had asked. What are 3 action items that can help achieve your business goals? I think that was the question. Was that correct, Swan?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. So what are 3 action items? Well, just out of curiosity, Swan, what are 3 action items you can help that you can help achieve your business goal, Swan?
Okay. From what she says, I do have a few things in place. As I'm a new notary, I'm getting my business set up, trying to do it the right way and properly. So there are a few more things that I have to do to get it set up. So I'm just going through the notes, and I will take action on those items.
Awesome.
Eric, I have a question. I guess you didn't see it in the chat, but I wanted to know, going back to purchasing a car that you use for your business. I had to purchase another car last year, and I purchased it on my own credit. Could I go back and put it in my?
You can refinance that loan into
I don't
the
know. I
business
got
name.
2.9. I don't think I get 2.9 again. But
No, you won't get that because the interest rate is not the same.
but because I was thinking about asking my accountant, because I keep the mileage and all that kind of stuff on it. But how do I guess account for that on my taxes? That would be his question for him, because I mainly use it just for my business because I don't go anywhere. But I got a good rate. That's why I went ahead and financed it in my own name. I didn't even think about maybe putting it in my business name. Because
one of the things is one of the things that people often miss when it comes to financing the automobile. And yes, you can refinance it, but no, the interest rate environment has changed so much over the last year. Right now, you wouldn't get that same interest rate, not right now. However, I want to say, just for the future, one of the things that people often miss, and I'm just going to use this as a scenario. You have your business, you have your vehicle in your personal name, and then you want to purchase a home. Your debt to income is dramatically reduced because you have that payment on the personal side that is going to be taken into consideration when you go to apply for a mortgage. This is just a scenario. Yeah. If that vehicle was on the business side, it would not show under your personal credit, which would not impact your debt to income.
Well, it's too late for that. I've been in my house.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. But in the future, maybe I need to get another car for some reason. I remember that.
Absolutely. Or if interest rates go down and you're able to get a better interest rate in the future, I don't know how many months you have it financed for, just keeping that information in the back of your mind for something to do if interest rates were to go down. There is some chatter that is going to go, the interest rates may be dropping in 2024. That's just chatter.
Okay.
I think Dewana Lane had a question. Dewana, are you here with us?
Yes.
Excellent. I apologize. I overlooked your question. Okay. Please. What was your question?
Okay. That's okay. I was asking, when are you not considered? I mean, when can you get funding and not be a personal guarantor?
Banks, major financial institutions are always going to require you to be a guarantor.
I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking with the business, you still a personal guarantor even with business funding. Okay. Okay.
Major financial institutions are always going to require a guarantor. There are a few financial companies, normally like maybe a hard money lender or something of that nature, that would not require you to be a guarantor. It would be outside of the realm of a financial institution.
Any other questions? Come on, guys. Come on off mute. It looks like Roger Dixon said, as long as the vehicle is relevant for your business, you should be good. Correct. I don't see myself getting approved for Lamborghini Urus as mobile notary, but I mean, he can use that, right?
I heard the first part of the scenario, but I didn't hear the last.
He was saying, as long as the vehicle, I think someone asked you and asked, what kind of, can we use any vehicle? What kind of vehicle can we use? And he said, as long as the vehicle is relevant for your business, you should be good, correct? So that I think.
Correct.
And then he said,
I'm saying correct. Correct.
Oh, okay. And he said, I don't see myself getting a Lamborghini Urus as a notary, as a mobile notary. And I think it was just a laugh out loud, a joke. Does anybody else have a question for our speaker, Ms. Mathis?
I see Tony Henry's hand raised.
Oh, I'm over here looking in chat. Yeah, Tony. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Keisha?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to share something with the group about the business credit. I have my own inspection company separate from Notary, but I tried to buy a car through my business and I didn't have business credit. I only had personal credit. So what I did was I went and applied for a business credit card through Amazon, American Express, Amazon business credit card. Unsecured. They gave me a $3,000 limit, and I was able to build credit through that credit card. Then I went to Duns and Bradstreet. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but that's the business credit rating. And now they bumped my credit rating up because it's been a year now. And so now I can go back and purchase that card through in my business name, which I've been trying to do. So I just wanted to share that with anyone who wants to establish business credit. Those are some things that I've been working on.
So were you turned down when you went to apply for the business auto loan?
Yes, they wanted me to use my personal credit, which I qualified for, but I wanted it in the business name for tax purposes.
I understand. That's what I'm asking. The business auto loan is, yes, you use you as the personal guarantor, but it still would have been in the business name to help you establish that business credit. That's what I'm asking. Did we turn you, not we, whoever you went to, did they turn you down for the business auto loan? Or would they only put it in your personal name only? They wouldn't put it in the business name at all.
Right, correct. They said it would have to be under my personal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not normal.
That's not normal. Okay.
If you have good credit on your personal side, you're the personal guarantor for, as it relates to major financial institutions. I can only speak about Truist because I work at Truist. You are the personal guarantor. So if your personal credit is where it should be, you'll be the guarantor, but the loan would be in the business's name.
But could it have been the location was, I guess, the way they wanted to structure it? I don't know.
It may have.
Still has to show income to cover that loan amount. The business still have to show income to cover that loan amount.
Not necessarily, because it's a secured loan.
Oh, this is getting spicy. Let's go.
That's why I said that with a secured loan, you don't have to have been in business for a certain amount of time because it's secured. We have collateral.
Going back to the car loan.
Yes, it's a secure. Yes, ma'am.
The business still have to show income, some type of income. When you go to get a car, You have to show some type of income. Even if they using your personal credit, you want to put it in a business name. You've never made a penny on the business. They're not going to put it in your business name.
Yeah, thinking back, yeah, they did ask me for business income, or business bank statements to show income, when I went calling now.
Did they also ask for personal?
Yes.
Yeah, he said that earlier. I think he did.
Yeah, because they approved me through the personal, so that wasn't a problem. It was showing business income, and at the time, I didn't have the statements to show business income.
My understanding of the auto loan is that because it's secured, because it is collateralized, we're not looking for 2 years of tax returns. We do want to see that you're able to pay any loan back that we give you. So we look at your total income.
Now, who are you referring to when you say we?
I work with Truist.
Okay. Now, I did get approved for SBA loan, which was nice.
SBA works a little different.
Yeah.
SBA more so works with startups than major financial institutions.
Oh. Yeah, I need to look into that. I believe we had a question from Ms. Vanetta. Did you have a question? Okay, it was just just a knee-jerk reaction.
No, you answered it. I've asked it already. I'm sorry. Let me take my hand down.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else? This is just getting spicy up in here because I need this knowledge as much as I can possibly get. Okay, so I guess my question would be: I've got my Duns and Bradstreet, I've got my EIN. I have some reports to show how much money I've made from my business. What's the next step? Do I just go walk in there and then just with all that information?
The first thing you want to do is open up a business account in that business name, and you can go to any branch to do that. But of course, I want you to use mine, of course, to open up a business account to get yourself started with separating your business and your personal finances. Oftentimes, sitting in front of new business owners, the one thing I continuously hear is, I'm using my personal account. Everything is going into my personal bank account. I'm using my personal credit card, or I'm using my home equity line of credit to finance the business. And there is no separation between the business and your personal. And if you have an accountant, I'm sure your accountant has told you how much of a nightmare that is in trying to separate the finances between the two businesses, because you literally have to go line by line and say, is this a business expense? Is this a personal expense? But if you have them differentiated, you have a business bank account and a personal bank account, it is easier for you to differentiate the expenses when it comes time to report for taxes.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Lakeisha. So I don't have the EIN number. So if I went back and got EIN numbers, and maybe I might ask some of the notaries, do I have to go back and all the people that are paying me, I have to go back and give them the EIN number as opposed to my social security number? Do I have to go back and do all that? Or just going forward, if I pick up any new schedulers or vendors or whatever?
Not if, when. Okay. Not
when.
If, when.
Oh yeah, when. So if I pick up any new people, I would use the EIN number my question is, do I have to go back to everybody and all those people and put in and give them my EIN number as opposed to my social? Yes.
I would say as you go, utilize, like, even if you talk somebody that you've already spoken to and you're doing new business with them, update it.
Okay. Let's see, I think that's all I have to ask. Okay, thank you.
Right. It looks like Constance had a question, I believe. What is the minimum to open and maintain? I'm sorry, I suppose that maintain Intuit business account.
So we have what is called a Truist Simple Business Checking Account. The minimum to open the account is $100.
Okay.
There is no monthly maintenance fee and no minimum balance on that particular account.
That was gonna be my next
However,
question. That might be better than Bank of America. That's what
however, you want to pay attention to the number of transactions and the amount of cash you place in that account. As with all business accounts, there are limitations to it in order to keep it free. However, if you're just getting started out and just getting established, that account is the best option for you.
Okay. Okay.
Does that include, I have another question, because I heard you say earlier about paying yourself. So that's the moving the money around, right? Or I guess if you have your money over in your business account, can you just spend out of that account? Or I heard you say, or you should
pay yourself. You should pay yourself.
Is paying yourself when you need some money, or just you should have a salary?
I would have a set schedule, just like you get paid
so it looks
in
like
corporate.
You're consistently paying yourself.
Just like you get paid in corporate, pay yourself.
Yeah.
And most banks, I'm not sure who you all bank with, but of course I'm gonna promote Truist. Most banks do offer a payroll service where they will help you take the money and pay yourself with it and take out the taxes, calculate tax payments for that particular paycheck as well. So you want to look into a payroll solution, and some of those payroll solutions are online payroll solutions that you can do at the click of a button through your online banking. So look into, most people don't know that those options are available to them to make things so much simpler and so much easier for the client.
I also wanted to add in the whole pay yourself thing. I know when we are working with a W-2, so it's pay yourself first. But when you are running your own business, you want to make sure that you have enough money in there monthly to cover your insurances and all those things that you have to carry with your business before you pay yourself. Because otherwise you'll be lending your business a lot of money every month to cover the expenses that your business should have.
Absolutely. I agree. And check with your bank as far as insurances are concerned as well. Because even with Truist, we have McGriff Insurance, and we work with a host of insurance companies to give our clients competitive rates with different companies versus you just having one company that you reach out to, and this is the only thing that I know, so I'm just going to only go with this company. Rate shop around, see who's going to offer the best deal for you. That's the same thing that you would do with your personal car insurance. I look several times a year to look for ways to lower my personal car insurance. You want to do the same thing for your business.
Right. And because there are a lot of notaries on the call, and I know a lot of us have purchased insurance through NNA, but after my first year with NNA, I realized that they're not covering all the things that need to be covered. So make sure you know what the company is going to cover for you. And there are better deals out there than,
Excellent. I think Constance had a question. Can you see your first slide up again with your contact information? Yeah.
Excuse me, Lakeisha?
Yes.
Atlanta.
I'm not familiar with Truist. I believe I started seeing that name a lot, like in the past 6 months to a year. Can you tell me how that bank developed?
Okay, so Truist is one of the top 10 banks in the country. Let's be clear. And we are a result of a merger between Branch Banking and Trust, BB&T, and SunTrust. So if you used to know of SunTrust or
Yes.
BB&T, then that's us.
Okay.
Same friendly people, just under a different name.
Okay, now my other question is, if you open up a business checking account with Truist and then you want to open up the credit card payment as well, two questions. Do they take all credit cards? Discover, American Express, all credit cards? And do they charge you? Did I freeze or she freeze?
I'm sorry.
I said, go ahead. I'm listening. I'll cut you out, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Do they take all the credit cards? And the other question is, do they charge a monthly maintenance fee to use that system? And how comparable is that to like Square?
We do have merchant fees as with all companies in order to be able to accept debit and credit card payments. We accept 3 out of the 4. Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. I think are the 3. I'm looking right now on my door to see which 3. One of them we do not take, and that's because of their rates that we don't normally work with them.
Okay, and what about a monthly maintenance fee? Because like my bank, I mean, I know all banks charge a fee, but they also charge what's called a monthly maintenance fee just to have it.
So there is a fee on merchant services, but when you're saying monthly maintenance fee, I'm thinking about the business checking account. And I want to make sure that in my conversation that I'm very clear that the Truist Simple business checking account does not have a monthly maintenance fee. Now, when we're talking about merchant services, there is a fee associated with you being able to accept debit and credit card payments unless you own your machine outright. So there's normally like a lease fee for you to pay for the machine that you're taking. But if you're not taking a machine, then and everything is online payments, that's a different set of fees altogether. It's different. So each client is different when it comes to quoting a rate for merchant services. But I want to make sure that we're differentiating between the business checking account and merchant services.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You can have your business checking account with whoever you want to have your business checking account. And you can have your merchant services with whoever you want to have your merchant services with. They don't have to be with the same bank. But the difference is normally if you do merchant services with Truist, it's next day availability when someone slides their card for you, which is quicker availability than you would normally work with when you have other companies that you're doing it through.
It's great to work.
So there are pros and cons to all of it. Excuse me. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, very much so. I need to go back and just verify if that monthly charge is a lease fee for using a device. That might be what it is. I just forgot.
Okay.
Anybody else?
And remember, like I said, if you have your bank account at Bank of America and you want to do merchant services at Sam's Club, you can do that. Whoever's going to give you the best deal. That's where I stand.
Well, that's why I was asking you, how do you compare it to Square? Because some merchants take all credit cards. They're not limited, and I understand what you're saying about the bank with the fees, why you're limited. But I was just wondering about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Hi, I have a question. It's Gloria. Hi, Lakeisha.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. My question is this: you're saying to start your business with a business account. You suggest a simple business account that Truist offers, but be mindful of the transactions and the amount. So, say I might be making average $3,000 a month, for the next several months, but then it jumps up to 7 or 8 or 10,000. What number am I looking at to be cautious of that?
So how much of that is cash?
Let's say 75% of that.
So that's where you want to look into the Truist Dimension account, because cash handling, physical cash that you actually bring into the branch is what was going to be counted. And that's $2,000 per month without a fee on the simple business checking account. However, that cash, that physical cash increases when you're going to the Truist Dimension account because you're taking more cash in. It is not normal these days for people to have a lot of cash transactions. It's more so Zelle, Cash App, merchant services, checks. Those things are electronic payments or normal payments for businesses.
Okay, I guess I was just looking at Zelle and Cash App and all that is considered cash. I looked at it as cash.
Oh no, ma'am, it's not cash.
Other than a credit card was considered cash, but that's not. Thank you for clarifying that.
And that's why I wanted to make sure I said it, because oftentimes people do confuse that and think that's okay, but it's actual physical cash that you hand me. I would say me or my tellers. You go into a bank and I'm gonna give you a dollar bill. That's what I mean by cash.
Okay. Well, all right, guys. Again, we have her information. I guess I need to sign up with Truist Bank myself. It seems Georgia Notary Network obviously is a member.
You guessed?
Yeah, right. I guess, right. Definitely a member. And where are you located again? You are what branch?
I'm at the Woodruff Park branch in downtown Atlanta, right across. I don't know if you know what Underground Atlanta is, but that's where I am.
All right. Hopefully we put some money in Underground Atlanta and get that thing back to what it used to be, you know what I mean? Years ago. But guys, join me. I'm going to go to Truist, I guess, next week and get my business signed up with a card because I have my own services. With that being said, Ms. Mathis, again, thank you so much for coming out, dropping knowledge for everybody part of GANN. And I hope you guys got her contact information. Real quick, Ms. Mathis, I'm just curious. Do you have a LinkedIn profile?
I do.
You drop that in the chat so that people can give you your flowers.
I will. I'm going to do that right now.
Excellent, excellent. She's going to drop her LinkedIn in the profile. Again, what we want to do is connect with her. And then once we connect, we want to go to the bottom of her page to the recommendation section. And we want to give a nice recommendation. We want to say, thank you for coming out, speaking at Georgia Notary Network. Your presentation was awesome. I'm signing up next week. You know what I mean? But we definitely want to go to her profile and show some love and give her flowers. She's putting it up. And with that being said, next up, I think we'll start very soon. I will give the final presentation for the day. LinkedIn. So you have you're on LinkedIn. You definitely want to hang out here, or well, get your profile looking real spiffy, because I believe in doing things on the spot, not necessarily just looking at a presentation and running. So we'll definitely get into that in a few minutes. We're just going to wait for the LinkedIn to come on up. We'll get that information and take it from there. Is that okay, guys? Yeah. It's a sport. It's a sport. I have a team of people. We go to 3-4 networking events in a night and just get our faces out there. So it's kind of exciting for me. That's why I'm a monster networker. And I have been doing resumes for almost 6 or 7 years. I started writing resumes. I was an ESL teacher, teaching English to 8 people from other countries. One of my students asked me to help them do their resume, even though they couldn't have a job legally in the country. I helped them out. They got the job. I didn't say nothing. And from there on, I figured if I could get somebody a job who's not supposed to have a job here, I could definitely do somebody's resume and get them a job. So sounds a little much, but it's true. It's the truth. And from then I've written resumes for family and friends, and it just snowballed into people needing my services, and it just grew from there. So I've combined the networking along with the resume services and the LinkedIn profile. But LinkedIn is my heart. So we're going to talk about LinkedIn cosmetics for beginners. Now, listen, I know you're saying, let me take this off real quick. You know, I got to back in the classroom now. Now we're in the classroom. I want you guys to see the value of LinkedIn. I know most of you already have a LinkedIn account. Is that correct? Everybody has a LinkedIn account, correct? Cool. Open your LinkedIn account, go there. We're going to add some things right now that you can add to take away to make your account look really stand out. So pull that up. I guess I don't have to ask you guys, but what do you think the value of LinkedIn is? What's the value of LinkedIn to you? Anybody, what is the value of LinkedIn to you?
Connections when you need them.
Connections when you need them. Elaborate for me.
If I am looking for an accountant, I'm going to go into my folks that I have connected with over the years and probably go there first, since I've actually met or connected with these folks.
Now, why would you not just maybe why LinkedIn? Why not go to like their website or something like that? Why LinkedIn?
Because LinkedIn is for other professionals in the field you're in. So you have a connection there.
Great. The point I wanted to point out was that they're not going to your website. You're not going to go out to a networking event. And I go to networking events so much. My family thinks I'm insane. If someone gives you a business card today, it's a waste of money. It's not going to get taken seriously. It's either going to end up stuck in the back of someone's wallet or purse, or it's going to get thrown out. I'm just keeping it at 100, because if it wasn't that way, I'd be doing it that way. LinkedIn is your living, breathing, walking, talking business card. You just heard someone say that they went to someone's LinkedIn profile. They didn't go to the website. They didn't go to their Instagram or whatever, their Facebook. They went to their LinkedIn. When you Google yourself, guess what shows up? If you don't have a mugshot already out, it's your report is going to show your either your Facebook, your LinkedIn, or even your Instagram. That should be one of the top 3 responses when you Google yourself and you know who you are, right? So, for example, if you have a name like Tony Henry, right, there's probably 50 Tony Henrys. But when you find the right one that you are, you Googled yourself, you'll see that will be one of the responses that they look for. So again, I want everybody to get into the mindset. LinkedIn is your living and breathing business card. You should not be giving out business cards anymore. You should be sharing your LinkedIn profile. Now, before we get started, does everybody know how to share their LinkedIn profile at a networking event? If I were to walk up to you and I were to say, hey, Tony, hey, let me get your LinkedIn. What would you do, Tony, if I say, hey, let me get your LinkedIn? I think I got you on mute, big boss.
I would copy and paste my link and send it to them.
Great, absolutely. I want you to go to your phone and pull up your LinkedIn account. Okay? When you open up your phone and go to your LinkedIn account. Someone's a QR code. Great. This is exactly what we're doing. Go to LinkedIn on your phone. When you got it, what I want you to do is make sure your search bar on your phone, make sure it's clear. There's nothing in it. Hit your search bar on your phone and a QR code comes up all the way to the right. Hit the QR code, bam. Now, all I have to do is use my camera and scan it, and I am automatically open to your LinkedIn account. So this is valuable because you no longer have to, which I forgot my LinkedIn. No. You don't have to copy and paste or tell them where to look or spend time wasting time scrolling through someone's LinkedIn when you could be getting someone else's information. So again, you have the QR code on your phone while you're out networking and you meet someone. Hey, let me get your LinkedIn profile. Hit your search bar. All the way to the right is a QR code. Hit the QR code. Your QR code will pop up. So someone can scan it, or you can do the same and scan somebody else's account. So how many people did not know that? Raise your hand. All right, now you are a savvy networker, all right? And I want you to go share that information with the next person you meet, because when you say, hey, let me get you LinkedIn, let me use my QR code, they are going to freak out and you will look like a savvy networker. So that's the first thing we got off the block, was how to share your profile. Is that cool? How many people are going to use that moving forward? Yeah. Awesome. All right. Now, let's get to this presentation real quick and get the party started. And here we go. Come on, talk up. You know what? Let me do this. Come on, talk to me. That's nice to me. All right. Let's do a screen share. That's right, Derek. Here we go. What's going on? Come on, present. I'm sorry, hold on, guys. What the heck is going on? Present. All right. Can you guys see? All right, LinkedIn cosmetics for career seekers. Now I know you might not be looking for a career. That's totally cool, right? But again, I will share this with all of you. It's pretty much the same across the board. What we're going to do is like a LinkedIn profile check to make sure you can stand out and get those clients or those individuals you want looking at your profile. Again, my company is called DF Consulting Services. We'll talk about that in a second. But this is LinkedIn Cosmetics for career seekers, and I have another presentation should time allow. All right, who am I? My name is Derek Ford. I'm here to help you network and grow your connections and followers on LinkedIn. This is my website. I think I shared it with some of you all yesterday, dfconsulting.services. We specialize in resumes. That can be regular resumes or government resumes, LinkedIn profile optimizations. I've worked with organizations like Bed Bath & Beyond, some credit card organizations to teach their staff how to use LinkedIn. And then, of course, I definitely do public speaking. I've been a host since 2004. How many people are from Atlanta, real quick, just out of curiosity? You lived in Atlanta. Okay, if you've ever lived in Atlanta, been to Atlanta, there's a place called Apache Cafe. It's for artists. It was very famous. They closed down recently, but I was the host there for 2 or 3 years doing spoken word. After that, my dad sent me on a plane to China. And I was a MC and hosting the clubs in China for a year. And then after that, I came back to the United States and picked up various hosting gigs. So I've been hosting for a very, very long time. And I hope you guys are enjoying the hosting that we're doing today. Real quick, let's talk about LinkedIn real quick, well, actually for the whole presentation. Some quick facts about LinkedIn. And these are old facts, guys. This is probably 2 or 3 months old. There are 930 million users on LinkedIn. Over 200 countries and 56 million companies, probably more than that by the time we get here. Every 60 seconds, every 1 minute, almost 200 people join LinkedIn, 900 connections are made, and 6 people get a job. Just out of curiosity, has anyone ever gotten a job or work off of LinkedIn? No? I got my last 3 jobs off LinkedIn. Okay, no problem. And every 7 minutes, is the time the average user spends on LinkedIn, visiting an average of 6 pages per visit. Let me ask you a question. Vanetta, before we keep going, how much, hey, babe, I would say, babe, I apologize. That's what I post. Just out of curiosity, how much time have you spent on LinkedIn this week?
Maybe about 3 hours.
Good. Okay.
Posts, articles.
Good. Gloria, what about you? How long do you spend this week on LinkedIn? Okay, Tony, talk to me. Better not, damn it, Tony. Swan, oh, okay. Hold on, wait. I gotta do a roll call. I'm calling you out.
No time.
Tara, okay. Just out of curiosity, I just have a curious question. Why not? Why, Gloria, Tony, Swan, why have you not spent any time on LinkedIn this week? I just want to know, just curiosity.
Well, I have another.
Huh?
Hey, Gloria.
Myself, I haven't looked at it. I'm recently retired.
Oh,
and I haven't looked at it, but I'm getting ready to start my mobile notary service. So I'm like,
okay.
Let me do what I need to do.
I hear an undertone. You don't see the value in it. Tony, what about you? Why are you not on LinkedIn?
I have another LLC business on LinkedIn, my own inspection company, and I get business from that. And I've been busy. I'm new to Notary a year.
Right.
I do have my LinkedIn profile under Notary as well. But when the economy tanked, I kind of like scaled back and was focused on my inspection work. But I'm getting back into it.
Right. You don't see the value in it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not seeing the value in it. That's why we're here. But again, that's really the bottom line. Though you do get business from it. Swan, what about you?
Just really never used it much. I need to. I had set up an account years ago, but just really never dived in further to really know how it works and operates. So I will be doing that soon.
3 years ago, I got a job at Zoom. Great job, man. Oh, they pay nice. Okay. And if you have ever worked in corporate America, especially like tech sales, they have something called the Black Wing, right? The Black Wing is a group of Black people and within the organization that come together. And when a brother or sister joins an organization, a large one, they reach out to you for a conversation to make sure everything's going fine. No one's bothering, that you can bring other African Americans onto the corporation. So every company has this, and they have also too, for each culture has their own wing. When I got a job at Zoom, I was so excited. And they have a headquarters here in Atlanta, if you didn't know that. But it's inside the wait. They erased it. So it's still cloud-based. But I said that to say when I got the job, my supervisor asked me, a brother too, said, hey man, we're trying to get more brothers and sisters up on here and get them in tech. You know anybody who's looking for a job? Absolutely. 20 people. What's their LinkedIn? Shit. Okay, because African Americans are probably the smallest number of maybe Asian. You're very, very low. I think we're probably like 14, 15% of LinkedIn, right? So my goal from there was to get more of us on LinkedIn to get more jobs. So that's when I really became passionate about it. And I have seen the value in LinkedIn since it first came out. While all of my friends were trying to build Instagram followers, Facebook connections, I was obsessed with LinkedIn. I saw the value of it very, very, very early. And that's why I'm on it. And I wasn't being mean when I said you don't value it. You don't. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because you might not see the immediate time and value in it. Because anything you value, you would spend a little bit of time in. So my job today is to show you the value of LinkedIn. Okay. So you could be on it all day, every day like me, right? Okay. Before we start with the overview, right? Let me explain something what I've learned. There are 5 types of people on LinkedIn. 5 types of people. You need to determine which one you are.
Derek.
Yes.
I'm sorry, one question. Are your presentation supposed to be advancing? It's still on the first page.
It says overview, right?
No.
Oh,
not for me.
Oh, really?
No, it still says LinkedIn Cosmetics for career seekers.
I'm on the 4th page. Really? Okay, well, let's go back out. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Hold on.
We're not on the same page, Derek. Let's get on the same page.
All right. Okay, let's do this. What if I close?
You never got to see any of your pages.
None of my love. Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to extend this out for another 4 hours. I'm kidding. You guys are, hey, I don't know. Let me pull this up again. Hold on.
Well, then send dinner to my house.
Send it out to Douglasville. Let's go out here. And this is
That's
also
Lithonia,
Lithonia.
4681 Panther Creek Court.
Let's get it all out now. We don't know. Tony may be single. Okay. Let me see. Where's my project? Okay. While I am here, how many people use Canva? Do you guys know what Canva is? Yeah. You need to get on Canva. Canva, this whole presentation was made on Canva. I definitely suggest you going ahead and getting a Canva account. Let's try this again. Present. All right. Present. Let me know. All right. Can you guys see it now?
First page still. Try to advance.
Oh my goodness. All right. I'm gonna be a little okay. Really? What do you see here?
It's like full screen.
Okay, good. Well, you know what? I hate to do it. We might just have to go over like this. I hate this. But can you guys see to the left-hand side, you see the pitch deck and things of that nature?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Slide. All right, let's go. Can you see the next slide here?
Yes.
All right, we'll just do it. We'll do it like we do it, work with it. All right, so here we go. Okay, so here we go. www.dfconsulting.services, resumes, profile, public speaking. This is where you can definitely find me. And I do wear skinny jeans all the time. I've been doing that since I was a kid. So don't let anybody fool you. I started the trend of tight jeans. All right. All right, LinkedIn facts. So we go back real quick. 930 million users on LinkedIn, right? And I'm saying, someone said slide something to the left or right. Let me see, slide the screen. Let me see. All right, slide it like
You good. You good.
Okay.
This slide's good, yeah.
I don't know why Canva is doing this. I do apologize about that, right?
No, I'm not able to. Okay. All right.
Can you see? Okay. I don't know why Canva is doing that. And I don't like putting it in a PowerPoint presentation. But 930 million users. And oh, don't worry. This is absolutely free. If you don't have it, you can go to my LinkedIn profile and it's in the features section. You can pull it up and open it absolutely free. So that to follow along. But we'll talk about mine in a second. Again, over 200 users in over 200 countries, 56 million companies. That's value, right? 200 people join every 60 seconds. 900 connections are made. 6 people get a job. I think the real reason why people don't see the value in it because they might not have ever gotten a job from LinkedIn. You would automatically assume LinkedIn is a job seeking site. It's really not. It's a search engine, just like Google, right? Because Indeed, Career Builder, you can't go into those job sites and type in someone's name and pull up their profile. So that's the difference between LinkedIn versus those other sites. And then, of course, 7 minutes is how much the average time person spends on LinkedIn. All right. Overview. All right. So this is profile optimization. We need a photo, right? Now, look, we don't need a photo of you from 15 years ago, okay? We need a photo of you now, today. It needs to be up to date as possible. I had an interview at Career Builder a few years back, and Dan, I forgot his last name, Dan, he was the guy on LinkedIn. I reached out and he invited me for an interview. I got to the building. I sat in a waiting room for about 15 minutes. There was a guy in there with me and I'm walking around going over my resume. And then, I'm looking on my phone because I'm trying to find out where the guy is. I sent him a message on LinkedIn and I hear someone's phone go, and he was right there. This guy had a full beard, right? And he was much heavier than he looked in his photo. He had glasses on and he was clean shaved. So I walked around the room, waiting for the interview to come in, and he was already there. He catfished me. So please, and I didn't get the job, it doesn't matter. Please put a profile that's up to date of yourself, okay? You want to look straight into the camera as much as you can, right? You want to think about it like a love connection, chest on up for the photo, right? You don't always have to smile, but you want to be facing forward, chest up. Let's see, wear clothes that are equal to what you do, right? So if you work in a business or you have your own business, you may want to wear a tie or a nice blouse, right, for your photo. Or if you're an artist, right, then you might want to wear a colorful t-shirt, right? that sort of expresses who you are, right? If you work in marine biology, maybe a photo of you standing by the ocean, but what I'm saying, wearing a suit, scuba suit. What I'm saying is you want to dress your profile picture to dress to match your industry. Okay. You're gonna need. Okay, we'll talk about your background photo. We'll talk about your headline. We'll talk about your contact information, your education, and the recommendation section. Okay. And again, I can give you a copy of this, so you don't necessarily have to write it down. All right, photos. Show them who you are. Okay, use the current photo, what you look like now. Headshot, chest up. Look into the camera. Clothing reflects your industry, right? Now, choose a background, that also represents your industry. A lot of people will take a photo of themselves behind a gray wall, in front of a gray wall, right? Or they'll go outside. It really doesn't matter so much as how you're looking, so that you're looking in the camera. But choose a nice background, right? Let's not have 3 or 4 people in the photo because we won't know who you are, right? Should just be you, right? Even if you're married and have a family, that's really great. I do understand the point of it, but we're looking for you. So this should just be about you. And there's also some things as a video option from your phone. There are things you can do on your phone for your profile that you can't do on your computer. So if on your phone, for example, you can make a video of yourself. You can also have a name pronunciation, and I'll show you that in a few seconds, but they're very, very helpful. But again, this is kind of how you want to look for your profile picture. Again, match your industry, right? And you don't have to worry about too much. Banner. All right, so the backdrop, right? The back behind your photo, right? LinkedIn does offer a few samples. I'm sure you've all seen them or you're probably using one, but those are kind of generic, right? Not really much flavor or personality. You want something that represents you, your notary services, your own businesses, whatever it is. That's why you go to Canva. You go to Canva, and what you can do is go back home. You can go here, and what you do is type in LinkedIn. Oh my goodness, Derek. LinkedIn, sorry, banner. Not my template, it's not my product. All right, LinkedIn banner. And you have an entire slew of backgrounds to choose from. Customizable. You don't have to be a digital creator to update and change these. It's very, very easy. Canva is awesome. I think that if you pay for premium, it's $12.99 a month. I believe you'll definitely want to get that. What I do is I tell people, pick a background that represents what you do, right? So for example, let's see, where's one that I use a lot for people? This one I used the other day, I didn't like it. Someone chose this one, right? They wanted this to be their backdrop, right? When we go into customize it, you just get customizable. And hey, you can start playing around. It's just that easy. Change your name. And you can stretch it out to make it last longer. Here's a tip. Do not put anything over here to the left-hand side. Push all your information to the right of where your face is. Everything to the right. Everything to the right. Because you notice when you go to your profile, your face is taking up the left-hand side. So if you put anything behind you, no one's going to see it. Everything needs to go to the right as far as possible. Okay? I tell people, there we go, you can play around. I tell people, put your name here. And then I ask my clients, I say, hey, give me 3 keywords that represent who you are. 3 keywords, right? All you have to do is when you have the writing circle, hit the duplicate button. Okay, wait a minute. Back on that one. Hit this one. Hit the duplicate button and hit it one more time. You'll have 3, right? And I always put it underneath the name. I'm going fast here, but I might say, so my name is Derek Ford, right? I do business development. Yeah, right. I also work in SaaS, software as a sales. I do software as a sales. And I also work, and the software that I sell is financing. It's a financing tool. I hope I spell finance right, but you understand. I'm horrible at spelling, but you get it. The point here is to have three adjectives that people can look at and automatically assume that that's you. And it doesn't always have to be three adjectives. Some people put the companies that they've worked for. So if they work for Microsoft, they might put Microsoft, another tech company, and another tech company. That makes them look credible as a tech person. You could put a favorite saying here. Maybe there's a quote that you like to say or a quote that you've said. You could put that there as well. But the point is, you want something that's going to make you stand out from everyone else. And once you have finished, you'll just hit share, download, and you download it again, and it will save to your computer, and you can pull it up later as your background. You definitely want to be able to stand out from everyone else. Does that make sense? Good.
Yes.
Good. Let's go back to my presentation. I believe I am. Okay. Here. Okay, great. So yes, definitely, as we did with Sumita. Now, Sumita is my friend. She lost her job maybe 4 months ago, and then she reached out to me. I've been working with her to get her profile, get her noticed. She's decided to keep going for a professional job, but she decided to start her own business. Like many people that I work with who get to LinkedIn, they want to start their own business. So, but as you can see for her profile, I have her name and those 3 words that represent her. It's all pushed to the right, right? So her face is right here. If you have your own company, you can add your company logo on there as well. And again, you want to slide all the relevant information as you can to the right-hand side, as you can see, right? Great, she has hers in the middle. But you see her face right here is blocking everything that if she would have had a quote back here, no one would be able to see it. So that's why you want to try to slide everything to the right. You could put a photo of yourself. I guarantee you, she definitely used, what am I saying? Canva for this, right? Cost you $12, right? That's it. Headline. So your headline is that section on your profile that tells people sort of what you do, right? It's up to you to write it, right? Just so you know, LinkedIn is testing a beta mode for your summary, not your profile, your headline. I think they'll do it soon. They will write your about summary section for you. They will take the information from your LinkedIn profile. And if you're like me and you have your own business page, they'll combine it both together. And it's really a dope concept to see it done. But I'm not sure where they're going to pull it for the headline, but that is something that's out there. Your headline, though, you want to make it simple, right? You don't have to go into, let's see, Nashonda Oberg, MBA, NCC, MCC, all these titles, right, that people might not understand. And in reality, I want you to think of your LinkedIn profile as a sale, right? If you've ever worked in sales, you know the best way to relay information to someone is called layman's terms, right? Can you tell me what you do in layman's terms? Because if a 3rd grader can understand it, an adult can understand it. So I suggest making it very simple. And make your headline, numbers and percentages go very far, just like they do on your resume, right? Numbers don't lie. So if you have a number in your headline, it's very, very, very helpful. Make sure you check your spelling. And here are 2 examples that feature a number or percentage. I help people save up to 20% off of their phone bill. What do you think that person does for a living? Probably sells phone services, right? But he was able to say what he does without saying I sell phone services. And it's very simple. For example, I help government organizations make better financial decisions, right? Very layman's term, you probably work with a finance company focused on government organizations. Does that make sense? So yeah, we just want to keep it as simple as possible because it's very helpful for a lot of people. Contact information on your profile, and we're going to go down all this in a second. Include your business email with your profile on your profile. You can put your website on your profile as well. There's this option for you to add a phone number. If you have a business phone number, you want to put your business phone number in there. Basically, you want to be able to be contacted or reach out to by anyone by sharing all your contact information. You can include a website, as I said before, if it relates to your industry, the email and things of that nature. I think you've already got it set up. If you want to use your personal email, you can do that, but I would prefer using your business email for that. Does that make sense? Great. Education. Now, this seems to be a hard spot for a lot of people. You want to include your college, whether you graduated or not. Right? I think a lot of people get scared when it comes to putting down their education. Some people feel they never went to college, or they have a high school diploma and only, or that they didn't finish school. Right? Every day people will tell me this when I work with them. It doesn't matter. And I'm gonna be, doesn't really matter. I've only had one job in my life ever ask me for my college degree. And that was when I was working for a school system. Other than that, no one's ever asked. I'm not telling you to lie, but I'm telling you to put your college or school up there, because when someone is reaching out to you, they're going to look for a way to connect with you, to say, hey, so-and-so. So I might say, hey, Nashonda, I see you went to Westlake High School in Atlanta. That's where I'm from too. I didn't go. I went to Southwest DeKalb. We always beat you guys in football. You see what I'm saying? You have some information out there that someone can use to introduce themselves to you. So you definitely want to have your education there, whether you graduated or not. Okay.
And that would be Frederick Douglass High School.
I don't remember. I was at Obama High School. All right.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
They're popping up now.
George High School, now South Atlanta.
But you see, someone can relate and talk to you just off sharing your information. So don't be ashamed, even if you think, you didn't graduate or you didn't finish. Don't worry about that. We've seen this before. Recommendations. Yeah. You want to ask past and current clients for recommendations for your services, right? Even if your services are sort of oddball, you still want a recommendation. Recommendation is sort of set out where if you worked with somebody and they did something for you that you want to recommend them. Well, we can use that for public speakers. Maybe somebody gave a great presentation. I host networking events. When people go to my events, I have them go to my LinkedIn and give me a recommendation saying, hey, I attended one of his events. It was really helpful, right? If you do a service for someone, while you got them there, say, hey, would you mind doing me a favor and going on LinkedIn and giving me a recommendation? It builds your credibility. Suggest writing one of your own and having a client copy and paste their recommendation. A lot of times when you ask someone for a recommendation, as I'm sure we did when we were in high school, going to college, we had to ask somebody to write us a letter of recommendation or for a job, right? When you ask someone, they're probably going to say yes, right? But the truth is they might not know how to write one. So why don't you write one highlighting what you did for them and then share it with them and ask them to copy and paste it. What I like to do is I tell them I have my own and I'll share it with you and you can copy and paste it. Or if you want to write one on your own, feel free to do so. 9 times out of 10, they're just going to go with what I do because they want to help, right? But they don't want to spend time writing a letter of recommendation. So I always suggest to go ahead and write one for them. And then feel free to return the favor. There's no limit on the amount of recommendations you can give someone. And there's nothing looked down upon if you're giving out 10, 20 recommendations. It's sort of silly. The way some people get upset about recommendations, but definitely go out there and get those recommendations and definitely go out there and give one back because it's fair return the favor. Come here. All right. that concludes this portion. We'll go ahead and look at a profile real quick. Does anybody have any questions before we go ahead and look at a profile?
I do.
Yeah.
Should I have both my if I work a job and then I also have my business, should I have them both on one LinkedIn profile or separated?
That's the most popular question people ask me. That it just depends on the type of person you are. But let me also say that you can make a business page and you can separate yourself, especially if you have your own business. Me, oh, I'm sorry, I stopped. I didn't give you guys the 5 types of people on LinkedIn, which is what I am. All right, the first, and it's all coming back to that question you just asked. You know, the job seeker, the people looking for a job, the job giver, that's the recruiter. You have the sales and marketing team, right? These are people who jump in your inbox to try to sell you something. You have the LinkedIn nuts like me. I just love LinkedIn. I want to be on it all the time. Like you might be on Instagram or Facebook. And then you also have the rise of the influencer. The rise of the influencer. So when I work with a lot of people I work with, they're about 49, 50 years old. They've reached the height of their career, and it's not about the money for them. They want to go out and give services and give back. And one of the questions they ask me is like, how can I separate myself, you know, from my personal profile? Do I need to separate it? Do I need to separate it? Let's not forget LinkedIn is it's a profile. It's set up to be more personal and shareable. But to answer your question, you can just separate yourself by creating a business page and talking to people from your business page if you don't want to merge yourself together. I do, but I've also gotten in trouble with corporations because I think some of the people I've worked with, I have more followers than the company connections. So it does become an issue. Or if I make a post, I've gotten into arguments with corporations where it's like, hey, you can't control my LinkedIn. You know, I post what I want to post. So you got to keep that in mind too. But let me show you real quick. Look, okay, so my background, because I work for a company, right? I just put their background up, right? And I did this because I've had to talk with the marketing team at Zoom, and I've had to talk to the marketing team here at this company, right? Because you see my number, you know, so I have more numbers than some of them, right? And they seem to think that they can control what I post, and I have to tell them no. The reason why they think that, by the way, is I work in sales. So when you work in sales, they give you a LinkedIn, they attach themselves to your LinkedIn account so that you can get LinkedIn Premium, which LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which you see in the corner here. So now I can look up a company in a deeper, or we call Boolean search, and look deeper into them. But when you do work for a company, they give you that, and they seem to think they can control you. But yeah, this is the background. I don't know if you saw it, but when I first came in, this was a video. It's turned into a video for 6 seconds, right? You can put a video here on your profile picture. Now let's scroll down a little bit. You'll notice my name is Derek Ford, Business Development. I shared with some people yesterday. The reason why I do this is because when I go to networking events and I meet people, I want them to remember me, right? Also, too, the reason I do this is because we are connected. Did I connect with somebody here? I bet, and I accepted, I bet if you go on your search bar and you type in business, my name pops up because LinkedIn thinks my last name is Business Development. So I said all that to say, let's say I'm a recruiter and I'm connected to you, right? And you're looking for business development reps. Who pops up first? Me. Let's say I'm notary. Say I need a notary service and I didn't know I was connected to someone and their last name is Notary. Guess who's going to pop up first? The person who put their last name is Notary. So this is just a quick tool that I've made up on my own. I discovered on my own. It's been very, 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 very helpful, right? People will put in the search bar something, and if your LinkedIn thinks that's your last name, unless they're part of a group, that will pop up first. So definitely, if you have a chance, definitely do it, right? And then you can do it from your phone. You can put a little emoticon to sort of separate in between bars. You also have an audio recording here.
Hi, my name is Derek Ford. I am a business development representative and I am open to work.
All right. Now, you might not find that important, but it's really meant for someone who has a difficult name to pronounce. It'll tell you how to pronounce it. Instead of that, go ahead and use it to market and tell people who you are. I believe it's 6 seconds long. So you'll want to make it short and quick as much as possible. But again, it makes you look a little more tech savvy than someone who doesn't have it. And again, that's something you'll definitely want to do. You can only do the recording, I believe, from your phone, right? And you can only make the video from your phone. So you'll want, those are the two things you have to do from your phone. Your name announcement and your video behind your profile picture, you'll want to do that from your phone. And of course, from your phone, you'll just go into you'll click your photo and edit. It should say from your phone, edit background video. If you don't have it yet, it may be because you don't have enough connections or LinkedIn hasn't rolled it out that far to you. But if you do have it, take advantage of it. The point here is to look as tech savvy as you can in front of other people. And I don't want to run over my time, but I do want to get you guys in here real quick. You can turn on creator mode, all right? Creator mode allows you to put hashtags. I'm sure you've seen them, hashtags under someone's name, right? You could put like, let's say my hashtag, I forgot to put it here. Where's my hashtag at? Hold on, oh my goodness, Derek. Linked up. We got it, can we give me it? No, I guess not. That's odd. Anyway, you can add, as a drop down, you have up to 5 that you can add in here. I don't know why mine is not showing up at all. Let me just take it out and that's how you're going to do your boy. But you definitely want to use hashtags. What is it? Come on, go back. Here we go. All right. Definitely want to use hashtags and they show up right under here. Again, these hashtags, LinkedIn doesn't put these hashtags when you make a post or share something. You have to put it in there yourself. You're just telling people what your hashtags say. And why do you need a hashtag? Because it's an external storage of everything you post. Mine is linked up, right? I just made this last week. I did the same presentation, right? You can follow mine. I used to have a show on LinkedIn. It was called Linked Up on LinkedIn. This is Dan Klesden. He has something called Plexicam. I'm doing it right now. You see, slapping my desk. Camera's not moving because there's a tool called a Plexicam that allows me to latch it onto my monitor, and the camera, I can adjust it and hold it where I want to always keep eye contact and keep you guys from looking up my nose when I'm giving a presentation. But the point is you want to be able to store all your posts and things like that outside of your profile. So that, again, that is the point of using those hashtags. Does that make sense? You may want to do this as well in your profile. You have a providing services portion here. You want to click that. And you can talk about, your service page. It's not really as popular, but you could put the services you provide and set a price and things of that nature. In the future, I hope LinkedIn makes this like a 5 or 4-star rating where you can just go to your profile and see some stars up there and talk about your services. But you'll definitely want to set a price. I have on mine set up, request reviews, samples, things of that nature, connected to your company page. But this is just something underneath your profile. It's your service page. So again, you'll want to put that into there. It's very small, overlooked by a lot of people because LinkedIn doesn't promote it as much, but it's very, very, very popular. At least.
Derek, how does one set up a company page on their current LinkedIn?
I was gonna wait, do that, but let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's go for LinkedIn for Business. And then go down to the bottom and click Create Company Page. All right, you have a small company, showcase page, educational institution. Click company. A showcase page is just a page inside of a company. So don't sit here and make a whole profile for showcase page. It's not gonna work. Hit company page, right? Now, you can put your company's name. You're going to put your LinkedIn address. Your company will have a LinkedIn address, your website, your industry, your size, type, and you put your logo in here, right? You ever been to someone's profile and see these blue blocks right here? You ever seen that? Doesn't that look tacky and cheap? Because the company didn't have a profile page when they signed up for that company. If you have one of these blue blocks on your profile, and you may want to go back to your profile now, go to that one, edit it, erase the first 2 letters, and go back. If your company has a company page, it will now show up. Go ahead and get that out the way because it looks cheesy, just having some blue bricks there.
I missed something, Derek. How did you get to this page? Because I'm trying to do this on my iPad as you're going.
Okay.
So where did you go? Create a LinkedIn. Oh, you have to
go to For Business, click that, and go to the last one at the bottom. Create a company page.
For business. Is this on my profile page?
Yes. And on your scroll, your top bar, you see I have notifications. I have me, and this is For Business. Do you see that?
No.
On your top bar?
On my top bar. Oh, that's at the bottom of my page.
No, okay, look at the screen. You see me moving. Can you see me moving the mouse pad?
Yeah.
Mouse, home, okay, top bar, home, my network, jobs. Do you see that? Messaging, notifications, me. There should be For Business. Do you see For Business?
No, I see notifications and then jobs.
I think it's because you have to pay for that service.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I actually have a subscription and I have what you have, Mr. Ford.
I don't have a subscription. I see it on mine.
Oh, okay. Well, I know I have a subscription and I have that's.
Get the subscription. Get it. I'm not saying it for this. You shouldn't have to have. You don't have to have the prescription.
Right.
You don't have to have it for that. But there's a lot of valuable insight to getting the premium package. If you apply for a job, you can see how you rank. You can see how many people viewed your profile in the last 90 days versus the last 4 days. You'll definitely want to get that because you want to see who's looking at your profile. I don't know why it's not showing up for you, but we can work together offline.
Okay. Yeah, I
don't see it either. I'm not getting that either.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Mr. Ford. So when you create that business, because you can only have one profile, correct? But you can have multiple business pages attached to your profile. At least that's the way I understand. So when you do that though, so I have a second part to that question, I'm sorry. So when you do that, is there some like a conflict? Like you have your business page here, your business profile is that you work for, your job profile.
Yeah.
Will your job see your business page?
No, this is what they see.
Okay.
Company. Basically it's a company. I put myself.
So how do we get to your business page? You tell the person this is my business page, and then it's totally separate.
Yes, your business page is it's another person.
Oh, see, that's so awesome. That's the part I didn't understand. Thank you so much.
You can share photos, you can share a video, you can make a poll, you can write an article. It's like Google or Microsoft, their pages,
yeah. I was always kind of nervous about doing that because I don't want my job to see my side business.
Great. Let me tell you something. You got a side business, don't you? Why?
I have several.
because you need a stream of income. Your boss definitely has another job, unless they're making it. Most people have 2 jobs in this economy, so they have their own. My boss has his own company that he attached to his LinkedIn profile. So I'm saying it to say, let's not try and hide ourselves or hide this, right? You've got nothing to hide, okay? And it's just attached to the bottom of your page. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Right there. I know I'm going through a lot. I've got about 2 more minutes. I wanted to give a little more, but real quick.
I will need to purchase in order to see. I'll talk to you.
I don't know why. We'll work together. I don't know. You don't have to have anything at all to have it. But I'm. You know what? I'm going to stop here. because we do need to let the other speaker the close out for the day. Again, if you guys like it, right? You guys have my information. I'll be back tomorrow. So tomorrow, if you are at the on site, I can help work with you too, right? Usually charge for it, but I might show a little love tomorrow. But we can work on this definitely when we get there tomorrow. But I hope what I've shared with you right here, you're able to take and apply right away. I would do the name change for sure. I would do the video. I would do the name pronunciation, and I would do the background banner. And it, you know, for myself, if you already got it and you're there, all good, right? But if you're not, you definitely want to use it. And I'll answer more questions for you guys tomorrow in person for the LinkedIn presentation. I mean, while we're there, okay? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Because I'll be on here all night, okay? And for sure, I'll be on here all night. So we have about 3 minutes before we have the exec board come on up and give their remarks. Want to make sure the exec board is here. I believe they both are here, so they'll be making some remarks. Oh, is this? Okay, great. But again, how many people found that very helpful? Cool.
It was
Very
great.
helpful. Very helpful.
Yes.
I want you to spend more time on LinkedIn, and it doesn't. You have to spend every day. And if but I hope I built the value in you and see it and connect with me and talk. You can have groups on LinkedIn, all types of stuff you can do on LinkedIn. You can go and that's where your customers are. Make a post and then go in their inbox, right? But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Let's see. Do we have the executive board here with us? Sam and Chris. Are we here?
We're here.
Oh, okay. There you go. Okay.
Just a little slight point. The exec board does also include Sydney, Miss V, and Diamond. But Samantha and I are handling the closeout for today.
Okay. No, and I do apologize. I apologize about that. But